7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
He has a lot of problems.
Struggle to be top 5 in points at the end of the season.
Wow.
You bleach your hair, you're a sellout.
Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Moto Aftermath Show. This is episode number 272. We are here in the TLR Coating Studios. We are going to wrap up the first round of the 2024 Pro Motocross Championship here in studio with me today. Former KTM mechanic, former Verb Moto contributor. It is the one and only Tom Cooper.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome in, bud.
Thanks. Glad to be here, doing a little bit of carpentry with you.
We are spending a weekend together here because I've acquired a house and we are doing some housing projects, which is why we didn't do a reaction show to the race because, to be honest, we just finished watching the race and started recording this on Sunday at 6 p.m. So we're a little bit behind here.
I think it was like 2:30 we put the first motos on, 2:30 in the morning.
No, I think it was closer to... No, it was midnight because it was when we left the house and came back here, which was midnight.
How it turned into 4 a.m. Oh.
Well, it was pretty simple. We started coding stuff afterwards because there's never not anything to do. So anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. I want to thank all our sponsors here. We got Complete Racing Solutions presenting the show there. Coach Rob and the whole team there can help you out with your hydration this summer, which I really badly need some energy fuel. I'm going to have to order some because it will help keep me hydrated in these hot summer days here.
Speaking of hydration.
Speaking of dehydrating yourself, a little bit of firepower over there.
We got a little bathroom floor project going later, so I'm getting a little lubricant in here.
Yep. As I said, we're in the TLR Coating Studios, so make sure to check them out for all your Cerakote and powder coating needs. Gutterworks on board here, going to bring us the 450 race recap. Holster Co. Reload rant coming up here, and boy, do I have a rant for this week. We got the Pro Flow Racing mini moment of the race, and we have the Issac Nelson Designs Dig in Danger Zone when we talk 250s here coming up. So that is everybody that's on board with us there for the summer. So, on the line with us here right now, right off the rip, we have the one and only West Coast contributor, Mr. Issac Gonzales. Hey, bud.
Hello, everybody. What's up?
Isaac.
Now, Isaac had a press credential yesterday for the race.
Hell yeah.
That's basically because he doesn't say he's actually associated with us. So that's how he gets that, which is great because, yeah, we got to have somebody on the inside. So, all right. So, Isaac, let's talk some stuff here. You obviously were there in person. You were there for press day. You were there. I mean, was there any doubt in your mind at any point that Jet wasn't going to win both motos going away?
I kind of expected that. All week I was telling everybody, get ready for a Jet show. I do not think he's going to do 22-0 again.
Thank you.
Oh, man, haters.
Thank you.
Haters.
Sorry. I got to be honest. Once that first moto ended and he won that kind of going away, I was like, oh, shit, here we go, 22-0. But after watching the second motos, I don't think that at all. Hunter will be the first one to beat him. I'm stamping that right now.
Nope.
But no, I mean, I was just doing the math on it. Jet's only lost three like individual motos since 2020 when he first raced there. His record at this track is unbelievable. So no doubt in my mind that he was going to do it.
Strange question for you. Isaac, do you ride too, or are you just a fan?
I ride a scooter.
Cool.
But not a dirt bike, no.
All right.
That's too dangerous for me.
Well, if you want to learn one day, I'm happy to teach you. I've been out to Pala a number of times, and let me tell you,
Have you?
The way that the dirt holds up and the way the dirt shapes up is really dependent on how much moisture is in the dirt. And prior to the race, there was like 6 days of dust, and we were like, oh, this is not looking good. But the dirt ended up being pretty good. The racetrack was pretty good.
Nice.
What did you think? You were boots on the ground. Give us your inside.
It was very what's the word? Like, so when us photographers go onto the start straight and get them, do the photos of them lining up and stuff, the dirt sticks to your feet so much. I mean, I had my shoe almost pulled off multiple times, but it dried out and it actually looked like it held moisture pretty good. So, I mean, it wasn't dusty at all. And yeah, it was pretty good. So I personally I don't think anybody likes that track as a national. As a local track, that track is great, but as a national, I think we need to go back to Glen Helen. I'm just going to say that right now.
Well, I raced and rode Glen Helen a handful of times, and although it's really cool because it's iconic,
Yeah.
when you're there, you're like, holy shit, I'm going down top. I'm coming from the top of a mountain, fourth gear wide open. I hope I don't die right now. Because you're coming down Mount St. Helens, and the braking bumps are so big, you're like,
Well, see, I've found your problem. You're going fourth gear down that hill. You just got to sticker in neutral and roll, bud.
well,
We're not getting paid to go down that hill, so we're just going down the hill. All right.
yeah, the rolling part's the scary part.
Neutral, just dragging the rear brake. That's it.
I had a real close call coming down that one time, and along the sides, not that one, but on some of the lanes, there's chain link fence to the outside of the fan barrier, and I had some close calls. I was pretty good, but I was also most of the time riding womped out stuff. So sometimes you get a little buck here and there.
Yep.
I didn't love that about Glen Helen. Still cool though. Just like Palo, there's a unique thing about Southern California where everybody goes to, like I think at the time it was Thursdays we would go to Glen Helen, and Wednesdays was Pala, and back then Milestone was I think Tuesdays, which was super cool because you show up to the local track for practice, and everybody's there. It was cool.
Yeah. Isaac. So, I've never been out to like the opener here. Is there a bunch of hype around it, like with A1, or is it more so subdued here? Like, what was the crowd like yesterday? Because it never looks very big on TV, at least for that race. So,
and most of I think I said it on the A1 show too, when I was on earlier. Most of the fans out here, they don't go to the race to watch the race; they go here to party.
Okay.
The hype around the national compared to A1, not even close. A1 gets way more hype, but I think that's because we only have 2 weeks between the series.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
So like A1, we haven't raced for months. Here, we didn't race for 2 weeks, and now we're back.
Yeah.
A1's like
So
Christmas Day.
I think that's why.
What So you were roaming the pits here yesterday morning because you were like texting me different pictures and things. How was that, man?
So I was roaming the pits pretty early, like at 6:30 in the morning. So nobody was really there. None of the bikes were even pulled out of the trailer yet. But I will say, I'm completely shocked to this day. So the beginning of 250 qualifying one, their first session, the A guys, I actually didn't go out there. I actually went to the Honda truck, went behind the Honda banners, and got photos of Hunter and Jet walking their bike. I don't know how the hell I pulled that off. With my relationship with the Lawrence boys and their agents and all that, I don't know how I pulled that off, but I was able to get photos of the Lawrence brothers coming out of their semis, and yeah, so.
No,
I want to tease you right now, but I don't know how old you are.
Tom, you're throwing up your hands, but you don't know there's a backstory to this.
Yeah,
he goes really. Isaac will go really hard on Twitter, and he went really hard on some things on Twitter with the Hunter brothers and the agents and everything, and it is caused a stir that has caused his phone to ring a couple of times.
Oh,
yeah.
So when he says that, it's not like a, oh my God, I can't believe I'm this close to him, like a fanboy thing like that. It's like I'm surprised I'm not getting punched in the face right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a little strange.
So,
Yeah.
If
there.
you need to get punched in the face, we can arrange this.
And I made sure that Lucas Myrtle and Jacob Hayes knew that I was there. I made sure. of it.
That's a bold move there, Cotton, but I like it. It's kind of it's exactly the same thing I would do.
Yeah, I just walked right in front of him. But I think the three of us are now so professional. We're not going to cause a fight at a big event like that. If anything, he would give somebody a phone call and say, "How did this kid get a press pass?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But I fist bumped Jet after the race too, so we're kind of cool, I guess.
He hasn't washed that hand since.
no way, dude.
And I asked Jet a question during the pre-race press conference that I know for a fact Jacob Hayes heard. So I made my presence known.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I don't know. I fully agree with you. I don't know that Mertz and them would cause like a huge scene on a race day. They would literally, yeah, like you said, just make a phone call after the race and be like, why does this kid have a vest and going everywhere? Like, what the hell is happening? So,
You think they would recognize you?
oh, they know who he is.
Oh,
Maybe.
they know exactly. They know exactly.
Mertz has his phone number.
I know
Mertz,
nothing about this stuff, I guess.
Myrtle literally will call him.
Yeah.
Like-
If he really wants to, he will question it.
Yeah. So it's interesting because he's involved with us and I'm the biggest Jet homer ever and he's over here fighting with them on Twitter.
Well, I'm a fan of building bridges, not burning them, guys.
Hey, we're building back better, okay?
All right.
Yep.
That's the
What'd
first
you
time
think
that's ever
of,
worked for anything.
What'd you guys think of the Hunter Lawrence? I don't know who the guy is, the Senna guy that he was tributing.
Awesome.
What'd you think of it?
I'm not a yellow or green guy, but I'm a big fan of Senna and Formula One. And he was like, so Isaac, he was like the
Jet Lawrence
before Jet, before Jeremy McGrath, he was like the Ricky Johnson, like the first kind of guy that came in and was like had that little magic to him.
Mm-hmm.
So he, Hunter, and also some of the I think it was McLaren,
Yeah.
F1 guys this weekend did a
Yeah.
Senna tribute
Mm-hmm.
through Alpine Stars, and yeah, really cool because Senna had a little bit of that magic,
Yep.
like a Wayne Gretzky magic.
Yeah, you should go watch. There's a documentary about it on Netflix. It's really good about Senna, because you like at being a motorsports guy, you'll appreciate it. So, but yeah, he was a huge deal in Formula One. So there's like a couple of guys. I don't know how familiar you are with Formula One, but like Michael Schumacher and Senna are kind of like the like he said, like the Jeremy McGrath, the Jeff Emmicks, the that caliber
Generational.
Generational guys of Formula One type deal from like the early 80s, early 90s, or 80s and 90s thing. So, like 20 years before you were born.
Isaac, how old are you?
21.
21. All right, so you were born after Y2K. All right, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how to put this into a good
2002.
acronym. So, or not an acronym, but yeah. Let me think about this a little bit. 'Cause it's a different era. Like for you, me and you.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting.
No, he's a kid, dude. He's a baby. He's like our baby on the show of trying to teach him about the motocross stuff here.
Trying to teach him about being nice to people.
Yeah. So
Hey, Supercross wise, I went back and watched quite a bit of 80s races, quite a bit of 90s races, so I'm not completely dumb on that side of it.
no,
So.
no, you're not, and that's great that you actually have that that want and that will to go do things like that, because there's a lot of kids your age that don't. Drives us old guys crazy, and you'll get there one day, because at some point you'll be in your 30s and somebody will be talking about mid 2000s 2010ish time races, and you'll be like, oh man, that guy was so good, and they'll be like, who?
I was gonna make a reference to Ricky and James in like the early 2000s, but he was in diapers,
Yeah,
right? So like when Ricky and James were in like the 04 to 06 era, it was like they were pushing the limit to where they were like very much dancing on the line, right? And you only see that in different sports in a small sample of people, right? Senna was one of those generational guys that was that little bit on the edge. He was dancing around the track.
So thoughts on the 250 class from this weekend?
Oh, I have a. Oh God. how biased the AMA is towards Deegan. I'll just say that.
This must be a VL thing.
That's
Vial.
interesting. You bring that up, yeah, because that's definitely it's a thing.
Well,
I didn't see either of the Deegan ones, but the Vial one happened right in front of me, and I don't think that was penalty worthy compared to the Deegan one.
he was wide open, but he also would have been wide open, so I don't feel like he gained an advantage.
No, that's where the AMA starts running into these murky waters because they tried to set a precedent there with Vial and then didn't want to set it with Deegan. So
No, the problem I have with it is Vial's came out pretty much right away. Deegan's, how long did we wait for the results last night?
yeah, a long time, and he didn't get penalized, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was searching, I didn't see anything, so
He was in the AMA truck. Him, his dad, and a couple of the Yamaha guys.
look, it's like I said, it's one of those things of they come out after the first moto with Vial and they're like, we're gonna set a precedence here. You know, we're gonna do the penalty right away, just like Formula One, and we're sticking to the books and everything. And then, like I said, then it happens with Deegan, and this is what we've seen time and time again. And this is where people look at the AMA and go, "You're a joke." Like the FIA does not hold back in penalizing Formula One guys.
Well,
No.
what if your name is well, never mind. I
They
was gonna say Lewis Hamilton. We've had a lot of things about Lewis Hamilton where it was weird stuff like that.
Nah, when it comes to track infringement like that, they do not hold back. It is almost immediate. It's you exceeded track limits, cool, penalized, lap time taken away, dock positions, stop and go, whatever it is. However those penalties work, because they're different, and I don't know the ins and outs of all of them, but they do it. And then here to do this, it's like, oof, because I just saw a post on Instagram that was literally like the two off-track excursions, Deegan's and Vial's, and you watch them back to back, and you're like, this is the same thing.
I
'Cause
did see that.
Because like the Deegan one that everybody's pointing at is like he was going uphill. So again, same thing as Tom, full throttle, and you didn't penalize him.
We just watched the race about 20 minutes ago, so I've been avoiding my phone all day and yesterday, so which has been nice, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way, did you get my photo? All the photos I sent yesterday?
I did. We're gonna probably use some of them here moving forward for thumbnails and things.
Nice. And I do have some vertical videos.
Cool.
I didn't spend my time doing the videos, but I did get a few.
Well, hey, we appreciate everything you do, man. And
Absolutely.
no big deal not getting them to me yet because honestly, we haven't had time for fuck all here. Like literally, I acquired a house, so we are currently doing a bathroom floor, building a chicken coop, building a gigantic in-ground garden. What else is on the list? Oh, the pool is not up yet. I got to build a pool pad and put the pool up. Is there anything else?
This is great for the fans at home. Travis has acquired his dear grandma's house just down the street. Now,
Yep.
The cool thing about it is when you're standing at the kitchen door, mind your kitchen sink. Mind you, this place hasn't been renovated since the 70s, maybe.
80s. We'll go with 80s. Maybe 70s. Okay.
70s.
It was built in 53. It's old.
And you would like on one hand, like there's some parts of it that are like that's kind of brutal. Let's fix it up. But the other part of it is like when you're in the kitchen and you're looking out the kitchen window right in front of the sink. It's farm fields out front, and it's beautiful, and it's country ass, and the simplicity and the peace that comes with that is hard to find right now.
Mm-hmm.
So for Travis and his beautiful family, like that is a great thing you guys got going.
It's fantastic, except for I'm stressed to the max here because it's just a lot of shit to do. Isaac, if you buy a house, just try to buy one that fucking is already done. And I wish you luck in California because if you don't have $1 million, you can't afford a house anyway. So,
Yeah.
Travis is experiencing leaving the nest, so it's a change of pace altogether.
yeah, it's a lot. So anyway, so all right, so first round's down. Who are
Rounds down.
Who are your title guys?
So my title pick before the racing was R.J. Hampshire and Jet Lawrence.
Yep.
Jet, I'm still sticking with. I have no idea in the 250 class. Like Deegan went 1-1, but that doesn't tell me anything.
Let me ask you.
That doesn't tell me shit.
Okay, so he asked you who your favorites are. It's kind of early for that. What did you see yesterday that we didn't see, right? So you got the vest on, you walk kind of wherever the hell you want. What did you see yesterday that was noteworthy that we need to know about?
Levi Kitchen has no luck with his boots.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I thought he was, when he came around, because I was standing over there, when he came around, I thought he hurt himself or something, because he was reaching for something.
I've never seen such a thing.
Yeah, that was crazy. Thankfully, I was nowhere near Ty Masterpool's incident, or else that would have
Which
been really
one?
bad. I know Chase went down on the first lap of the first moto. Did they show his second crash?
I don't think so. I don't remember it.
Because he tucked the front end right in front of me at one point of the moto.
Okay, that sounds about right.
They look pretty good though, eh?
Hey, dude, they dropped Hunter that second moto. I was shocked.
20-something seconds.
Yeah, 20-something seconds. The crazy thing is that when all three of them were battling, they were talking about the Lawrence brothers going like 227 and Chase doing a 226, and then they swapped back and forth. When Jet and Chase took off, they all of a sudden were doing low 224s with like 5 or 6 minutes left. So like 25 minutes in the moto, they've dropped 3 seconds a lap, and I'm just like, holy shit.
Did the track seem like it got faster, or was it just that they picked it up?
What's that?
Did the track seem like it got faster, or did it seem like that they just picked it up?
Well, they showed. I know Jason Thomas at one point did the little feature on Jet's crafty line at the beginning of the track there, where he would wheel tap the top of the whatever the fuck that was. That was pissing me off a bit that Chase or Hunter was not picking up on that. Because I think if they picked up on that, that would have been... I'm not sure Jet wins that. And then there was an outside line, so the jumps before the finish line, and then actually, hold on, let me back up a little bit. You go over that like fly arch, and then the last turn before the finish line. Chase and Hunter had an outside line that was clearly faster than Jet's inside line, and at one point I thought Hunter was going to pass Jet in that moto. He was fucking on it, and then I don't know what happened.
Did so that little wheel tap over that thing in the front there, I was talking was anybody else getting over it like Jet was, or was Jet the only one who was jumping over it like that? Because we didn't see anybody on TV going over it the way Jet was.
I didn't see anyone either.
Okay.
I didn't even know about that line until Jason Thomas reported on it, and then I watched it closely in that second moto, and it was faster. It definitely was faster.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch the broadcast today?
I have not. I'm gonna watch it here after we're done with this.
Were you standing next to Jason Thomas when he said that?
No. So in the media center, they have TV set up.
Oh, I was gonna say, how the hell?
They have TV set up, and I was in there during the halftime and watched him report on that.
Got it.
What'd you think of Jet's gear yesterday?
It's okay. Wasn't my favorite of all time, but it was okay. The colors were too like faded out for my liking. I'm more a bright color guy.
Apparently Dave Prater was telling my dad that it was like gay pride gear or something.
Oh
boy.
I did think that it was a rainbow gear the first day, and then I looked a little closer. I was like, oh, I guess it's not quite, but I did think that at first. So
Alpine Stars is still a family-owned brand.
Mm-hmm. Private company. Private company. So
That's all I wear during the day. Seriously, I'll wear the jerseys out in public, and I get shit for it. I don't care.
He just wears an A-Star jersey.
Just a blank?
Yeah, just a blank one.
Oh. All right.
Do you ask Ando when he's riding Triumph yet, or?
I barely barely talked to him all day.
Should ask.
Oh, I did get recognized by Shane McElrath this morning at a coffee shop.
That's nice. That's cool.
Yeah. He's like, "Hey, you were on the start line yesterday, weren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I was one of the photographers." "Oh yeah, I did see you." That it was weird to be recognized by someone I've looked up to for years now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It happens, man. Wait till strangers start talking to you.
Oh, I've had that too. I've had that happen before.
Yeah. Yep.
What'd you think of? Because I sent you the videos, Travis. What'd you think of my questions in the press conference?
They were good. I like that you asked Phil a question because anytime you talk to Phil, it's always a good time. So
yeah.
The questions you threw at Savachi after the press conference were really good.
Those were literally on the spot questions.
That's okay. Those were really good. Those provoked some good answers out of Savachi there. So let me ask you this with Savachi. Do you think he wins a moto and or an overall this year?
Maybe Thunder Valley because he's really good there. But I don't know how that Triumph's going to react there.
Okay. Because I have a bet going about him with Coach Rob. So we didn't get to watch him a whole lot yesterday. I was wildly impressed after qualifying that he was that fast.
And the first moto.
Yeah, the first moto was really good too. So, but he kind of fit right in where I expected him to. I mean, I know the second moto he went down there, but especially that first moto, he kind of fit right in where I expected him to, having not raced for like 2 years. So I think it's only going to get better as we go along here. So,
yeah. Do you think Joe Shimoda wins an overall in the first 5 races?
Nope.
Not till the second half.
Not till second.
Not till, let's see, what do we got there? Dilla, Budds Creek, Ironman.
Red Bud, he's really good at.
Nah, I don't think it'll win that early in the year. I think you're gonna be way past that. I think you're gonna get maybe Spring Creek.
Yeah, well,
and beyond is when you start getting into that zone, and when you get to like those last 3, like I said, like the Dilla, Budds Creek,
Budds is late,
Ironman,
right?
Huh?
Budds is late in the schedule.
Yeah. When you get into like those last 3 there, then the options start to open up. I was surprised. Did you hear anything about why Hymas isn't getting his knee fixed?
I have no idea.
Because that shocked me that he was riding, because we kind of talked, I'm pretty sure in the preview show, that we didn't really think he was riding. We figured he was going to go get his knee fixed. So to see him actually riding and do what he did, I was like, oh, that's impressive.
Travis and I talked about it during the race last night, and I'm not terribly surprised to see it, because I've had both sides rebuilt 5 times now. And a lot of my seasons, I raced at least half the season with blown-ass knees.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started playing actually hockey, I had blown-ass knees too. And you can do it. It just depends, because sometimes you'll blow your knee and you can barely walk. But other times you're like, I could go play basketball tomorrow. It's just doesn't have stability, right? It's not apples and apples here.
Yeah.
Can I also being trackside, I noticed this, and I don't know why this isn't a thing. On these races where Jet's 10 seconds out front, the battles between 15 and 30th are absolutely insane. I don't know why they don't get shown on TV. Because you could tell privateer stories. You could actually watch some battles, except for, you could watch some battles other than Jet fucking 15 seconds out front. Like, you can actually watch some good racing. There was a big group of guys, like probably 15th to 30th, going at it all 35 minutes. It was so fun to watch. I don't understand why they don't show that on TV.
Well, you see, they could, except for they got to keep the cameras, because they're so spread out, on the main guys. So you're really limited on what you can show beyond those main guys. This is a prime example of where if we had onboard cameras, much like they do in Formula One, and I know it's different because of the vibrations and everything, but if you had that on every single bike and every single rider, where again we could pay for a pass like Formula One and we could watch any onboard we wanted to, you could watch stuff like that, and they could show things like that because they would then have access to it. So we're getting better. This is where I put on my little positivity cap for Feld and MX Sports here. We're getting better because we have the drone, or maybe even 2 drones now. I can't remember.
Skycam. That's a great account to follow.
That allows us to follow some other things other than the main thing, which is what allows us to do like the battle box and stuff too on the broadcast. But I'm a huge proponent of if we had onboards for every single rider, just like they do in Formula One. The amount of money I would pay for that app to be able to literally just scroll through and watch dudes to see what happened is unbelievable.
I'd like to know how NASCAR does it, because they have a huge market, and I'm sure they have some shit like that, because they did 15 years ago with having access to the radios and stuff. I would love to know how they do it.
Well, that's where I'm a huge proponent of in-helmet communications also for racing, because the stuff you would get out of that would be awesome.
As long as you want that shared, like shit, I say some wild stuff. When I used to race, I would.
Yeah, but that's what builds the sport. Do you want to know? Do you want to know what builds Formula One there? When I'm listening to the fucking driver tell the guy who's talking to him to fuck off and let me drive.
Yeah, Max.
Yeah, makes me a huge fucking fan of watching the Netflix series and the Formula One stuff, and that's how I know those drivers. I don't know it because of the races. The races are fucking boring. Formula One racing's boring. Plain and simple.
Well, I've never seen the NASCAR, or I've never seen the Netflix side of things, and I watched the races for the
NASCAR racing's boring too. You want to know what the most exciting thing that's happened in NASCAR racing recently? Did you see Kyle Larson fucking punch Kyle Busch in the face the other night?
A bunch, yeah.
Oh, dude, it's fucking epic. I mean, not like normal, like you see the guys scuffling after the race. No way. Like directly talking closer than you and I are, and then just fucking haymaker on him, and it was awesome. I'm a huge Kyle Larson fan now.
I'm not a big NASCAR guy. I haven't been since like 2000s, but I'm a minor pro hockey player, and I had a fight this week, Wednesday. I got my fucking face punched in. It's okay. you even though you technically win, do you really win if you're getting punched in the face? But yeah, I like fighting.
Yeah,
it adds a little spice to the sport.
It is, dude. Like I said, I cannot wait to see to see Deegan and Smith fist fighting on the track next year.
I was thinking Jason
Smith
Anderson with a roundhouse. Jason Anderson, I'm a roundhouse your ass.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, all right, Isaac. Anything else from the track side there?
Did they show Christian Craig at all?
No.
Yeah, that guy was. I was very impressed with him.
Okay.
All day. There's certain guys. You guys talked about it on the Iron Man show last year. They just when they go by you, they like catch your attention. And you go, oh shit, he's actually on it. Christian Craig was that guy for me all day yesterday. He was
home
ripping.
race too.
Well, this is the season that we're gonna see whether he just isn't. Whether he's struggling or the bike is a pile of shit. So,
he wasn't 100% yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
And he got terrible starts. So
look, I'm gonna give him until we get to like high point round 4 here, and then we'll reconvene on how things are starting to go here.
I have grown to respect Christian Craig a lot more than I used to.
Big Craig family fan over here.
Yeah,
Paige is a great lady.
Boy, is she ever. But I back when I was trying to compete, I was maybe a little jealous of like that unlimited support kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's like maybe not him, but a lot of those guys, you're like, I can fucking beat this guy. And then you go out there and he's like, you're going up a hill and he's like, see you later. And you're just like, fuck, man, But he was one of those examples for me where I was kind of like, man, good for you, but fuck you too, you know what I mean?
Ever since I rode with Kev, I don't believe I can touch any of these guys on any track ever.
Well,
even the slowest of fucking 250B group, I'm like, nope, not even close. Couldn't even see him for 2 corners.
Yeah.
So there was a while there before I ever got on a track with a pro that I was like, well, maybe at some point I could get there. Nope, I'm out. Totally out. Like couldn't even touch any of them. couldn't even start with any of them.
This is an accomplishment right now, folks.
Nope, nope, I'm good over here. So, all right, well, Isaac, we appreciate you coming on, man. We appreciate you doing what you're doing for us.
Absolutely. I think I got close to 400 photos yesterday. It's going to take me
Sick.
a long time to get through all of them. So if I find any good shots, I'll send them over.
Cool.
I know I got, maybe I sent this one to you guys already, but Levi Kitchen with his cheetah ass looking hair.
Kind of cool.
Yawning on the start line. It's
You sent
hilarious.
that, yeah.
I don't love it in like a Dennis Rodman way. I love it in like a heavy metal fuck you way. I'm like, all right, cool. A little bit of spice. So a question for you, Isaac, before we let you go. Where are you local to? Are you a Temecula guy?
I am a Wildemar guy, if anyone knows. So I am 2 minutes up the road from Elsinore,
All right.
the track out here.
Are you doing any more nationals this year? Or is this your only national?
Maybe Washougal.
What about Redbud?
I wish. 1 year.
You got to make it happen one time just to experience it. I've been to
Yeah.
most of the stops that we're going to this year, and none of them are like Redbud.
Yeah. I am old enough to fly on my own. I just need the money to do it. So.
Don't we all?
Awesome.
Don't we all? So, all right, buddy. Well, appreciate it, man. Glad you had a good time there. Glad you got to experience some new things there.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, yeah, man. We'll if you make it out to Washougal or whatever, we'll definitely have you on after that again. So,
Absolutely. And I do want to go to Vegas for the SMX finals again.
there you go. There you go.
So I'll let you guys know.
All right.
He's old enough to have fun in Vegas now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Vegas as a 21-year-old is very interesting.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
Well, hey, take it easy. Stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
All right. Thank you, guys. I'm going to send you guys a headshot of me for the show.
Perfect.
For my interview.
Great.
All right.
Great.
Absolutely.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye-bye, guys.
Yeah, bye.
Dude, when I was 21
Oh,
in
bro.
Vegas, I was with KTM at the time. And
Oh.
I was auditioned. I went to the second round auditions of The Bachelor back then.
That a boy.
Long time ago now, but it was fun.
That a boy. So,
Totally
Isaac
not my
Gonzales,
style,
everybody, our West Coast contributor there. So, pumped that he can get these press credentials. So, he's a
Blows
good
my mind a little bit, but good for him.
dude. He's a good kid, and he got in with something. So, do you know his background?
Nothing about him.
Okay. So he had I believe it was an underdeveloped heart or something like that. So he actually had a heart transplant.
Damn. Whoa.
3 years ago. Maybe it was like 2020,
pretty good.
2021, something like that.
Damn. During Rona season, that's crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
So anyway, so he's been a fan of the show since we started, which was awesome. And then and then we kind of figured out like, oh, he's in California, and once he had the heart transplant and stuff, he could actually go do things, because before that he was in such bad shape he couldn't actually go out on his own or whatever.
That's great.
So now that he's old enough and he's had that done, like he can go to the track and stuff, and that was when we really started talking about like, hey man, you want to do some contribution stuff? And so then that's when all this kind of started. But because of that heart issue, he was on the Make-A-Wish thing. Well, they flew him and his family to Spring Creek 21. Was that when that happened? Something like that.
Cool.
Somewhere in that range. And so he was there, and he met all the MX Sports guys and all that stuff. And through talking to them, and then because he's local in California, he knows all the guys out there because he hangs out the track all the time. And so just through that, he met the right people, which allow him to get this press credential when the race is local. You know, he's kind of one of those local MX Sports guys there per se. So, which is just, you know, their on paper way of saying, yeah, this kid's all right. Like, let's let him take a couple pictures type deal. So
I knew he was a real nice kid, or a real
Yeah.
nice guy. I don't want to call him kid anymore.
he's a kid, dude. He's 15 years
heart
younger than
kid
us.
makes a lot more sense now.
Yes.
Now I'm like, oh, okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. So So that's how he kind of like met everybody and like got in that kind of realm there of like, okay, cool. Now, when we do have California rounds and stuff.
I got to blow my nose.
All right, go for it. There's tissues right there.
I got one.
Okay. So yeah. So thanks again to him. He provides us with like off-season videos from the track out there. He provides us with some pictures, some videos from the press conference and stuff this week. So yeah. So that's awesome. So all right. We're gonna move on here. We are gonna do our. You don't have to put those back on because it's just you and me talking, so it doesn't really matter. We're gonna do our 450 race recap, brought to you by our friends at Gutterworks. Always well hung, just like Justin Barsha. Make sure to check them out. Link in the description down below. I actually need to call Gutterworks.
We're gonna be seeing them soon.
We're gonna be seeing them soon. I gotta fire off a text to Kayla, be like, "Hey, I got acquired a house. I need you guys to come fix my gutters and fascia and soffit because it's falling off in places."
It'll look a lot nicer after a paint job and some soffit.
Yep. So, all right, 450 race recap here. So, Jet is now 24-0. He goes 1-1.
He's saying this specifically to fuck with me right now.
I mean, we're just starting at the top of the list. What do you want me to tell you? We run down the list. This is how it goes.
He's already got it
This
tallied
is
up.
like
He
your
needs to get
fifth time on the
31
show
now.
this year. All right. So, you don't think he's going to go 22-0 again?
Well, I as of last night, I got money on it. It's kind of a bogus bet, but I'm in. And the answer is no. I don't think he's going to.
All right.
Don't get me wrong. The fucking proof is in the pudding.
Look, man,
he did it last
it's
year.
not a bogus bet either. Okay, the bet is that is that perfect again, with the only caveat
And
being
here's the bogus part.
a thing out of his control, which is a mechanical.
Oh, shucks. The one thing that would be most likely to take him out.
If he crashes, if he does this, like, okay, fine, that's on him, no problem. Or even somebody taking him out.
So in my position, I'm like, okay, he's not going to go 22-0, right? Obviously, the odds are in your favor by last year. However, by taking
You agree
that
to the
caveat,
odds and the terms.
by taking that caveat, and for me to accept it, it's a coward's bet, and I don't like that. Okay, fine, I accepted it. Last night, me and Proper 12 Whiskey had a great time thinking about it. I said, fuck it, let's go. But you know what? I think that I gave you better odds by doing that. I don't like that.
Well, you know what? I don't know what to tell you, man.
As soon as Chase Sexton hits that thing, I'm gonna be like, "See you later. Give me that $100."
Sexton isn't gonna beat him. Sexton's.
see.
I don't think.
I should not have given you. I should not have given you the mechanicals though.
Yes. I'm a shrewd negotiator.
Yeah, something like that. You take the easy bet every fucking time.
Shrewd negotiator. Anyway, man, I don't know. The more rounds that Chase gets that close and cannot close the deal, though, the more that just has to break your confidence. Because, I mean, let's face it, he did the same thing last year they did yesterday, which was he get close, and he should have got it.
We just
but he
watched the
couldn't do
second
it.
moto, and when we were watching it, I was masking a rear hub for a Yamaha 450, and I was looking down when Chase had passed, and I maybe I misheard, but he passed and then fucked up, and then Jet got back by.
He was really close, and they fucked up a corner there. Yeah, at the top of the hill and went off the side. So, and he did it properly. He let off and just coasted down the hill, which is why he didn't get penalized. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like I said, it's just the more this goes on with Chase here, you just turn into, can he do it?
What do you mean the more this goes on? He almost fucking won the second moto.
He almost fucking won a bunch last year too.
Yeah.
And guess what? He didn't.
Yeah.
And at some
Someone's
point,
got
that's,
money on it.
no matter how mentally strong you are, that starts playing with your mind of like, holy crap. And when you run down everybody else here from yesterday, nobody else is even close.
I don't disagree with that.
And there are going to be people come out of the woodwork about Hunter here, because
And I
there
agree with
always
them about
are.
that.
But here's the thing, and we can move on to Hunter, because Hunter goes 2-3 for second and looked phenomenal yesterday. But he has health issues. They're not going to let him close out motos, especially as it gets hotter as we go into the summer here.
I don't agree with it, but that's okay. I think he can do it.
I know people behind the scenes. He has health issues that are not going to let him close this out. From what I hear, when it gets late, and especially when it gets hotter, it's going to get rougher than it was yesterday. I mean, you look at yesterday, they dropped him by 20-something seconds.
Yeah, but he was there and then pulled back.
I don't know,
I think he
man.
can do it, and he can do it during the week too. So he's
Yeah,
replicating it. He can pull it off.
yeah.
Maybe not enough to close a fucking championship out, but enough to get a win, a moto win.
Well, he's looking really good right now for being right in that hunt for second or third in points for the year, which is really good for your rookie season. So
I'm not sure that he'll take that from his brother if it's 1 and 2 until after 31, because I already know you're gonna fucking mention that today.
we're working our way there. Look,
Uh-huh,
his next one is to get another one to go be 25-0 for bragging rights with Stu. So we'll see, man. We'll see. It would it be wild if he went to like say 35?
No, I don't think it'd be wild. I think he could do it, but one moto this year is all I need, and I really think it's gonna fucking happen. So we're gonna find out.
It could, man. It very easily could, but I don't know. I was a lot more on the he wasn't going to go perfect again when Eli was racing.
Yeah,
But with Eli out, and the only reason I was going to give it to give it at that rate was because Eli is so good, and Eli was building, and I was like, okay, he's still going to start the outdoors slowish, but he'll definitely build it.
he's still number 3.
Yeah, and then when he got hurt here, and now he's not going to be back for till at least probably High Point, if not Red Bud or after. I'm like, oh, here we go, fucked. So
What's round 2? Hangtown?
yeah, we're gonna hang down next week.
Cool.
Yep. So, so Sexton goes 4-2 for third, and
Looks great.
Looks good. Looks better. That bike does lack forward drive, like Stu said. If you watch that, and it's probably just a minor shock adjustment they got to do, which again I'm sure they're playing with it still.
If only we could get our dear friends at Tech Care, aka TCD, to help out. If only we could have them help out. Maybe
You didn't see the TCD sticker on there?
No.
Oh, I did.
Was it a thing?
I mean, it's somewhere on there.
Yeah, maybe, but
It's somewhere on there.
it would be cool to see. You know, it used to be that KTM was the brand that would do whatever they needed to do to help their rider win.
And now it's different.
And Japanese bottles back then, Japanese manufacturers were the ones that wanted to use. So for Kawasaki would be like Kayaba only, right? The roles have changed.
100%. It's everything I'm hearing. They are completely different. It's complete opposite now. Japan will do whatever, and KTM Group is like, nope, we're good. So, Dylan comes out, goes 7.5 for fourth.
Looked really good.
He looked really good. Do you think he gets that bike better where he can keep up with those front three there, or
The next 2 weeks? No. Across the season? Yeah.
you think by the time we get to say Red Bud, Spring Creek, that kind of stuff, like mid-season on, he's going to have that bike
He won Red
tuned
Bud.
in? Yeah.
He can do it.
I mean, he won a title,
That's
so
the thing. Like, he can do it.
he could, but I just it's a privateer effort. That's what, which not that that's
Kinda.
not good enough, but
Kinda.
I just wonder how many parts, like, and everybody's asking this question. What does he have
Here's the
from
thing.
Honda?
Bikes are so fucking good stock. It's
Oh, I
just
know.
what do you need to make it work for
Yeah.
you, right?
Well,
Some guys can get on an almost stock bike.
you know he trains with the Lawrences, right? At their compound.
Okay.
So, because they trained at his place when they were doing GPs. And
Oh.
so they're returning the favor here.
I see. I like
So-
the theme you have here.
Yeah. So, and now he's riding this Honda, which he watched last year. Because, fun fact, he was second in points last year.
Dylan?
Yeah. On that Star bike. So that's where this gets even more tricky is when you look at, he was second in points last year, and now he switched bikes to this privateer effort Honda. There's not a lot of room to wiggle here to be like, oh, that was a disaster.
I haven't ridden at that pace on the new Hondas, and I'm really curious to see what the next generation Honda they just announced this week is going to be like
Yeah.
on race day. But they fucking look good.
Mm-hmm.
And when the bike works real well with you, like maybe the Lawrences aren't a great example because they ride kind of special. But when you have a chassis that is so calm
Yeah.
through the rough, doesn't really matter if you got factory foot pegs. If you got A-kit suspension that works really good and a damn good stock bike,
Yeah.
you're pretty good already.
Yeah. We'll see, man. I hope he can get up there and mix it up because it just makes it more fun for the rest of us.
Yeah, we don't want to see it run away again.
No, I don't need to see Jet and Chase 30 seconds ahead of everybody else for the whole season. It would be fun to see some more guys kind of in there.
Hey,
even
you
if
know-
it is only for second place.
After press day, we didn't really have any more injuries at Pally, did we?
Not that I've seen yet. Press day was
or
a little
Fox
rough.
Raceway, I guess you
Yeah.
would say. Yeah, the press thing's interesting because you and a bunch of other people messaged me like, "Where's the flaggers?" And it's like, it's press day,
Hold
though.
on. We're gonna get to that when we get to the halftime. It's my rant.
Oh,
I'm gonna rant about that.
You ranting about the AMA? No way.
Now, Barsha goes 6-6 for 5th.
He's a sick individual.
TCD suspension hooking up on that bike.
I don't know if it's on there now or not. That whole thing is so weird, but I like him a lot.
There's
I'm glad
no
to see
way
him
it's
going.
not on there.
Well, there's some lawyers involved with it.
Okay.
It's been interesting.
Hey man, there's lawyers involved with a lot of things. There's also I know the old tape rule too on the cans of stuff that we don't want them to know that we're using
Fair.
because we either aren't sponsored by them or we don't want the competition to know what the secret sauce is. So
I should reach out this week because I really like those people over at TCD. They do a wonderful job, and they have found success, and they have been sharing it a little bit with these factory riders.
yes,
And the saga has been very interesting to watch. So maybe I'll reach out to him next time I'm on the show.
just inquire a couple of things. How's it going?
They're
What's
very,
up? Is Barsha's suspension still there?
They're very open, but yeah. In 48 laws of power, law number one is never outshine your master, right? So I don't want to blow them out, on the.
There's pictures swirling around of Barsha's suspension there. So it's not. This isn't like you dropping a whole bunch of knowledge. Like Cole's openly been talking about pictures he's seen of his suspension there.
Yeah.
So this isn't a big secret. It's just kind of floating under the surface there, So
If it's still a thing kind of deal.
yeah. Jason Anderson goes 10-4 for 6th, and he was kind of way back there, not really in the conversation that first moto.
He was 40 seconds back, but he looked good.
Yeah. That 4th place there, that's kind of where I see him like tiptoeing on and off the box basically all year and being like a 4 to 6 place guy basically that's what I see for him.
He could turn it up, but he doesn't necessarily need to turn it up to be to go at the lead pace.
Yeah.
It's kind of a jump. Mm-hmm. And if he rides it where he's at, he's far less likely to have a season-ending thing happen.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like, see what happens.
Which I think we're going to see a lot of guys once we get to say mid-season here or even after these first 3 that are going to just start to safely finish out the year here to get to the SMX stuff. The SMX is a big deal for these guys now
I see.
because of the money involved with it. That's why. No one really cares about the title, I don't think. It's the money that's involved in that SMX
Yeah.
series.
From my experience with this sport and other, the title stuff doesn't matter when you're in it. The title stuff matters when you're at home with your grandkids 30 years
Yeah.
from now, right? That's when it really matters.
Yeah.
Kind of like trophies. Like I just threw 2 of my last trophies I had left away. I moved this last couple weeks, and I threw a couple last trophies away, and it's like, damn, I didn't really care about the trophies back then. But now I'm like, I threw them away, and I doubt I ever have kids, but if I ever did have kids and grandkids and shit, like that's all gone now.
Yep.
Right? At the time, I couldn't care any less about trophies. I didn't care at the time at all, and I cared more about the dealer checks and cash. But your perspective changes.
Yep, sure does. So, Justin Cooper goes 5-8 for 7th, and this is right where I see Justin Cooper being.
Second moto, he had a first turn issue, right?
Yes, he went down. AP went down, and then that took him down. So, so he came from way back. But again, this is where I see him slotting in. Basically, I don't see him being way up there. Maybe he gets more towards the box here at
can
some
be.
point.
First moto, he had hella pace.
Yeah. And he gets good starts. That's the other thing, is he gets good starts. So
Consistently.
yeah. So he could get up there farther, but again, first 450 outdoor race, so
That was 7/8 for the 8th.
5-8 for 7th. So yeah. AP goes 312 for 8th. We're doing well tonight between the yawns, the sneezes, and the blowing the noses.
Oh,
we're
man.
doing great. This is gonna be a good show. I'm
I got
excited
a
about it.
I got a temporary condo deal with a great roommate on Woodward Avenue in Detroit, and it's super fun, a more royal look. But he's got a cat, and I'd never lived with cats before. Dude, killing me. Great guy, but
the cat's killing him. So, AP 312 for 8th. Just had that tip over in the first corner there and had to come from the back, which is, I think, how we're going to see a lot of this shuffling going on this year with all of these guys from like 4th place down to 12th is going to shuffle depending upon where you start and if you crash.
and Hunter and Jet, go figure, go 1 and 2 in the whole shot, both motos, and magically you're up front.
Those Hondas on the starts outdoors are fucking awesome.
I can't wait to see the 25s come out.
Stu goes 8-7 for 9th.
Looked great.
So that's pretty good. Yep.
Looked great through the end of the second moto too.
Yeah, which is impressive because everybody talks about how he's not an outdoor guy.
I'm thrilled to see it. Honestly.
So that was good. Phil goes 9-9 for 10th. Dude, running up front second moto. So pumped to see Phil running up front, dude.
Yeah.
Phil is low key a good starter.
He's a good at a lot of things.
He's a low-key good starter. Like, he hole-shotted one of the races at one of the 450 SMX races at Chicago last year. I have the video of it. You can probably find it on the Instagram because I probably posted it already. But he legit straight-up hole-shotted that and took off and led a lap and a half there. Like,
Yeah, don't disrespect him. Good for him.
I'm going to miss him when he's gone.
I'm not going to miss him one fucking second. When I watched the races today, I'm like, why is he here? Him and Dean Wilson, why are they even here?
SMX,
Good for
baby.
them.
SMX, baby.
I mean, I don't even care about that, but, if they want to continue the legacy, that's cool.
Freddie Noren goes 13-10 for 11th. Michigan boy Marshall Welton goes 16-11 for 12th.
That's my guy. He had a hell of a second moto.
Uh-huh, he sure did. Colin Park goes 12-15 for 13, riding a 450, which is weird. Comes back off injury for that. Dean Wilson goes 11-16 for 14th.
11's good.
We'll see if he shows up to any other ones, but he was literally doing this for SMX points. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's why these guys are here.
And Dean had some of his best days as a pro at Pala, so good for him.
Craig goes 15-17 for 15th. Crashes, cost him. But as Isaac said, very impressive. So we'll see. I can't wait to see at Redbud what he looks like.
Yeah, I'm just going off of what Isaac said here because there wasn't much to see.
No, we didn't see anything on TV. Roman Pope, that's what it is. Roman Pope is back. No, that's literally how he says he pronounces it. Pope.
Yeah.
Roman Pope's back, goes 20-13 for 16th. Shane McElrath goes 30-14 for 17th. If you got anything to talk about with any of these guys, please stop me.
Shane is Suzuki through the outdoors, correct?
Yes. Grant Harlan goes 17-18 for 18th. Derek Kelly goes 14 DNF for 19th. Jerry
First of all,
Robb.
he was up there.
Derek Kelly?
Yes. He was
Okay,
up
I don't
there.
know. I didn't see that.
7th, 8th through almost the whole first moto.
Oh, wow.
I thought he ended up 10th. I guess not.
No. Jerry Robin, 18-22 for 20th.
Points.
Max Miller, 27-19 for 21 points, which is weird now. Whatever. Justin Hill, racing for SMX points here through the outdoors. 19-26 for 22nd. Scotty Verhage, I don't know, some French guy. 24-20 for 23. Chiz, 28-21 for 24th. And we're going to stop here at 25th place because I'm not running through all 40. Brad West goes 25-25 for 25th.
All right.
And I'm just seeing here if there was anybody else. Not really. All right. That was the 450 class there.
Oh, we don't have opening ceremonies for outdoors. I didn't think about that.
We don't do opening ceremonies unless Cole's here.
Oh, that's true.
Because that's kind of a Cole thing. So we'll probably have opening ceremonies for, what's it called? Spring Creek, when he does the Spring Creek show.
I see.
So, but then again, too, we don't really do opening ceremony. I guess we kind of do for outdoors. So,
Hot lap.
yeah, hot lap. There we go. All right. And
Hot lap's a good segment.
Sight
name.
lap.
Sight lap. Hot lap. Hot lap's a good segment name.
Yeah, we got to come up with something for that. All right, that's been your 450 race recap. Brought to you by our friends at Gutterworks. Always well hung, just like Justin Barsha. And now we'll move on to our Complete Racing Solutions halftime report here, which I only got a couple things to rant about.
All right.
So Holsterco Reload rant.
I don't know about these yet. Let him have it.
Holsterco Reload rant. Fucking press day incident.
Yeah. Our friends at Holsterco. Okay.
So we've all seen the video now. If you haven't, go look it up. Craig went down over one of those roller hills.
Craig's?
It was Craig who started it. And then you got Jerry Robin and McElrath come over that hill where there is no flagger, and they crash into him. And then you have Marchbanks come over that hill and just wad his shit and get hurt. And now he's not racing. And the Club MX guys are fucking pissed. I have it from a source.
Here we go.
They are pissed.
Who are you mad at? It's press day.
What other motorsport do you not have flaggers on the track when the fucking guys are on it?
Press day is not supposed to be like.
What other motorsport, doesn't matter what, if the track's hot, what other motorsport are there not the correct amount of flaggers?
I see that.
Every free practice for Formula One, there's flaggers.
It's not the same, though.
Every fucking practice for any fucking buddy.
So press is like half of an hour long on an off day, right? So
Yep.
let's just say it's Thursday or Friday.
Yep.
Let's just say it's Friday for half an hour. You're gonna bring a whole fucking crew of flaggers out for half an hour? No.
You know. Hey,
No.
well, okay, let me bounce this off you. In Supercross, we went to no dragons backs and 9 whoops. Why did we do that?
I think it's both lame.
Safety for the riders, so that our fucking top guys were there. But we're gonna send them out on press day with no fucking flaggers, so that shit like this can happen.
Press day, and go and fucking shred day are not the same, right? So press day is kind of like, hey, everybody go test out the track now. When it really is like, hey, Channel 12 News is here, do a fucking story with them. Throw a whip over whatever the name of the jump is at Palace, I forget, but
What do you think would happen if that's jet?
nothing, because it wouldn't happen.
That could have been anybody.
It's true.
We had literally a factory guy wadded up.
Yeah.
And then we had 2 semi-factory team guys wadded up and a privateer wadded up, all in the same spot, all in the same thing there.
It's a tough spot. Okay, so you and I are business owners. We're businessmen. If you're the promoter, it's a tricky spot.
Who is promoting safety of our riders
It's a
because
tricky
we
spot.
don't want to add these jumps to our track because it will hurt the riders. But fuck flaggers.
Here's the other thing. Where that was, you wouldn't have a flagger anyways.
What do you mean?
Coming into a right-hand corner with a roller over top of it,
Yeah.
you would have a flagger at the jump. Prior to that, you wouldn't have one on the roller.
Okay.
So even if there was flaggers, there probably wouldn't be one there. However, the last show I was on, I talked about how they need to have a bar pad with caution lights in it.
Yep.
That would have fucking worked. And
You
you
know-
don't need flaggers there to do it.
Just things like that. There's also these things like those fucking light bar or light poles on the top of areas where it's a blind spot,
Yeah.
to fucking, oh, hey, by the way, somebody just went down here.
You typically wouldn't put it on a roller coming into a corner, though. This is a
Typic-
very
you-
low-risk spot.
You typically wouldn't, but at the same time, if we're going through all this safety bullshit, I mean, if the roller's 8 feet high outdoors, which is what ends up happening, because you have a roller on a supercross track, it's maybe 3.5 feet, 4 feet high. When you're standing on the bike, you can see over it.
Yeah.
With these 8-foot inside rollers that we have for outdoor
terrain,
tracks,
yeah.
you can't see. And that's what happened. You couldn't see over that. And that thing was 8 to 10 feet tall, at least.
Well, in my opinion, this is one of those, not freak accidents, but it's one of those things that happens and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
shit. But it's not like, oh, I've got to fucking invent the wheel. It's like,
Yeah.
it sucks.
It's one of those things that, like, once it happens once, now we need to look at it. Now things need to change.
I think that this is a soft world we live in where everything is a crisis once it happens one time. Oh, God, something happened. I don't agree with it.
If they wouldn't have gone down the path, and what I mean by that is the promoters here, of rider safety, and that's why we're only going to have 9 whoops, no dragons backs. If we wouldn't have started down that path, this probably wouldn't be a conversation.
I don't care about the narrative. I don't care at all
Be
about
one
it.
of those kind of like, oh. But if that's the path you're going to go down, and shit like this happens, then guess what? Now you're going to have to address it. Now this is going to
Yeah.
cost you money. That's all there is to it.
That's why everything's a slippery slope to being a bunch of pussies because everything is
Well, that's
lawyered up. I think that
whole
truthfully,
thing.
this is in 50 or 51 years, this is the only time I can even remember something like this happening. Oops. Move on.
Yeah.
Bummer, right?
I know.
Reinvent the wheel over one oops in 51 years? I don't think so.
We're not reinventing the wheel. We're promoting rider safety.
Well, to put flaggers, especially one in a spot where there's not normally a flagger, to bring that many flaggers in for a 30-minute press is very tricky.
Look,
as
this is
business.
another thing I could rant about. There should be a permanent flag team. for all 32 fucking rounds.
They have some that travel.
No, it should be a entire team. Formula One, and I keep going back to that just because that's the front and center, does not go and pull you and me off the street to stand there and flag on the track.
Maybe not Formula One level, but for slightly lower than that,
Okay.
it does happen because I have some customers that do it.
Okay. Are we the peak of the dirt bike racing, or are we fucking the local circle track?
Here's the thing. I agree with what you're saying here, but the other side of it.
Like, this isn't log road for a vintage race.
Well, this is perfect you say that because the people from Log Road are the flaggers at Redbud in Indiana. Trampus News is a great example. He's involved with the AMA, and
Yep.
he's
I know.
the guy
he was
that
flagging
does
in a really
that.
precarious spot at Detroit or one of them there, because me and him were texting about, like, man, you're going to get hit there, and he almost did, like, several times.
So having him go to some of those rounds, he's got kind of a home field advantage where he knows the terrain. He's ridden. He's fast too, and he's got kind of a little bit of an edge on as to be an exceptional flagger.
Yeah.
Right? Among other things he could do.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were to have somebody, I mean, don't get me wrong, it would be good people that travel the whole thing. Mm-hmm. They might not have the inside information that the local guy has, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think this is necessarily something that's broken. Maybe it's something we can grow on, make better, but I don't think it's something that's wrong.
That's what I'm saying is, like, we could, especially at this point, especially when you get to, like, Supercross and stuff, right? And we've seen this time and time again in Supercross. The flaggers don't know what they're doing. They're not in the right spot because you have those few guys who travel. There's, I don't know, 10, maybe 12 of them, whatever. But that's not enough for the whole track, okay? At some point here, if we're going to go to this rider safety thing, then we need to sit down and we need to somehow standardize roughly how many dudes we need to flag at, we'll go with every single track across the schedule, right? So whether that's 30-something people, 40, whatever it is.
You don't think that already happens?
Make a flag crew. No, because I can go flag Redbud. I can go flag any of the Supercross races. They're always looking for volunteers that they pay you $30, a fucking t-shirt and a hot dog to fucking flag.
I guess I don't know enough about that level anymore.
Which is fine because, like, guys like you and me have half a clue.
Yeah.
But the people they get are not necessarily all guys like you and me who have half a clue. And so these people don't pay attention. They don't care, whatever. And next thing you know, we have stuff like this that happens on race day because they weren't waving the flag or they were in the wrong spot or whatever.
Or it was press day.
So again, if we're going to be tip of the spear, which as far as dirt bike racing goes, Supercross is tip of the spear. Supercross is the Formula One of dirt bike racing. There should be a permanent flag crew that goes, and if we're all going to be tied together here with SMX and MX and Supercross, it should be a permanent flag crew, goes to every single damn round. Period. End of discussion. Professionally trained, knows what they're doing.
Kind of like NHL referees.
Exactly. You don't see them pulling Joe Schmo out of the stands to be a linesman, do you?
No,
to call
it's just
offsides and icings.
It's just a different scale of the employees involved with that, but interesting.
It is
Interesting discussion.
It is, but I mean, when you go to, like, when you say look at like Formula One or something, those tracks are all way longer than ours.
Well, as a
they
businessman,
gotta have more flag people.
This is true, but as a businessman, to have, let's just say, 30 flaggers.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I
know.
They already pay
it's a
them.
huge cost.
And to have them travel.
Huge cost.
This is a huge cost.
I understand completely.
For a sport that's not very profitable as it is.
I think there's more profit in it than what we're necessarily aware of. I've heard some rumblings from different people who have tried to buy Supercross before as to what the actual numbers were.
The value or the profit? Because I don't think it's profitable. I think it's valuable. I think that they turn...
No, it's...
They turn a decent amount of money, but the cost to do Supercross is so high.
It's profitable. It is. If it wasn't profitable, Feld would have sold it years ago.
I don't disagree with that.
They don't keep it. That's why the circus isn't around anymore. Because the circus was not profitable. And then they changed, and then when they did, if they did come back with it, either was they closed it or they closed it and then came back with it. But they made huge adjustments to the circus, because you think of the circus, you think of animals and stuff like that, right? There's a huge cost in transporting that many animals across the fucking country.
Yeah.
They toned that way back. Why? Because it wasn't fucking profitable to do anymore. Like Feld's not a $1 billion plus company because they don't like making money, and they're not doing Supercross because they like dirt bikes. They're doing Supercross because it makes money. So again, this is one of those things that you're gonna have to spread it out with MX Sports too. Of course, I mean, this could go down a whole nother path of I think the two should be different, because the outdoors, I feel like, where it is a professional thing, it's not tip of the spear motocross racing.
You're saying because you think the GPs are better?
I don't even know that the GPs is a thing either. I think the only way you're tip of the, I think both of them are a super high semi-professional level thing. And I think the professional side of it is when you can control the environment more, a la in a stadium, or if you were to say build tracks at race facilities where there's things. Dude, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I love Redbud. I fucking love it. The track's amazing. We've been at Redbud for over 50 years. Why am I still walking through mud on gravel? Why am I still pissing in a fucking porta potty? The track outline hasn't changed that much that we cannot have permanent facilities and
Yeah, I agree with that.
walkways and driveways. I'm not even saying that you got to have like a huge asphalt parking lot, but why can the roads in between the rows not be paved? Why can the roads leading in not be paved? Why can we not have a paved pathway through Vendor Row? Why in Vendor Row area do we not have permanent bathrooms?
This is true.
Why do we not have permanent bathroom structures in the center of the track, in the infield by the tower and stuff where everything is? I mean, like I said, we're going on 50 years. Why are there not permanent bathrooms in the pits?
So I'm a builder, but to put bathrooms in like that, unless you just had a holding tank, I think you would have to put a septic field in for each one of those, which is
why couldn't you just do a holding tank? Let's face it, if you have the porta potties, they pump those anyway all week when you're there for the national. These are the questions I have with you, because you look at these road course facilities, they have them.
Well, just like running water to those spots.
I mean, you're just putting in a well, dude. That's all there is to it.
Each one. If you have, well, this is an interesting discussion.
Yeah, like I said, it's just something I've thought about that's like, man, I love it. And don't get me wrong, this is not me talking shit about Redbud or anything like that, but I just have questions of like, why don't we have all this stuff?
It's interesting because now I think about it, some of the local tracks, like for example, Freeland, I don't even know what it's called now, kind of near Lapeer, Michigan. I haven't raced there in a long time. I got really hurt there a couple times. Broke my femur, my pelvis, and things there. But that was one of our favorite local spots to go. Not because the track was cool, but because the girls like to go there with flushing toilets and a shower after the end of the day.
Dutch has flushing toilets.
Yeah, that's interesting now that I think about that.
So it's like you have those tracks like that have that shit, and we can't have it at Redbud or any of these other outdoor facilities that we go to. And this is why when people are like, well, what do you think of it? I think it's a super high level, semi-professional thing. This is where we get into talking about like the Gypsy Tales thing. Have you heard the Jace from Gypsy Tales talking about, well, it kind of got twisted around because it's the internet, his fuck the privateers thing, which was basically like, look, bro, in Supercross, I don't need 100 fucking dudes for each class to show up. I need like 45 guys to be there to qualify.
You're one of those guys.
Tip of the fucking spear. Okay?
I don't agree with this.
Which, again, we went down this path on previous shows, but and obviously you don't agree with it. You're more core guy per se.
Oh, I was one of those guys.
But here's the thing. You and your van isn't selling fuck all for tickets. I'm there to see Eli Tomac. I'm there to see, and this is where it gets fuzzy because people are like, oh, well, you hate privateers. No, I don't hate privateers. Guys like Kevin Morantz, Justin Starling, these kind of bubble guys, yes, we need them to fill out the gate, but I don't need, and again here, I don't hate these guys. They're faster than I'll ever be, but just for example, I don't need a Nagy. I don't need a Bobby Piazza. I don't need those kind of guys there at Supercross. I need a sub-series for Supercross, a semi-pro series, a la the old Arena Cross series, but maybe even tweaked a little bit better for these guys to build skills, street credit, etc., fan following. So then when there's injuries and we need other guys, we have semi-pro teams to pull from.
I like that part of it, but pretty much all the rest of it I'm out on. It's interesting. It's interesting to think about, though.
The dudes in the vans aren't selling shit for tickets. We don't need them.
I don't give a fuck about that.
All it's doing is destroying the track.
I couldn't care any less about who's selling tickets. I care about, okay, so that's, if you're Bobby Piazza, I don't even know the guy, but if you're one of those guys, you're trying to be the next fucking Eli Tomac. And that's how you do it, by racing and proving you're there and making those results.
Okay, let me ask you this. Does the Bobby Piazza of hockey get to just go play in the NHL?
If he's good enough to make it, yeah.
If he's good enough to make it. What's good enough to make it? You have to be
reps.
You have to be scouted, get reps, whatever, in a minor league.
Yeah,
when you're
you gotta
10
get a shot,
seconds
too.
a lap off in Supercross, you're not in the same league. And this is the point that Gypsy's trying to get across.
It's interesting.
I don't need those guys that are 10 seconds off. I mean, you look at Formula One. If you get on the track, and here we go with Formula One again, but if you get on the track and you're over a certain amount of time off, they yank you off that track.
Yeah.
And that's your tip of the spear anyway, because you're in a Formula One car. If you're that slow and they yank you, you're double fucked, because then you're really out of your league there, buddy. And this is the thing, is like,
I never really thought about this before. It's interesting.
It's just one of those things of like, if we're going to be the elitist of the elite sport, the Formula One, the MotoGP, whatever, of the dirt bike racing, great. There's certain aspects of it that need to be controlled. Number one, who gets to do it? Number two, how we do it. And number three, where we do it.
Yeah.
Which, again, in today's day and age, driving to the middle of nowhere to race Unadilla, no matter how iconic that track is, with no fucking cell service, and you got to drive an hour and a half to fucking get there through cornfields, that's not a world-class fucking race.
I don't agree with this at all.
That's not a world-class race.
I love Unadilla, too, but
The
I don't agree with
track
this whatsoever.
is awesome. The facility is not.
This is how all of this is.
But this is where I differ from like you and Justin and stuff. You guys are real core. And you guys are the guys that start speaking up about the when guys like me and Jay start talking about the privateers, you guys start yelling, "Oh no, we need the privateers." Okay, great. That's fine. We can have the privateers for outdoors.
What's wrong with qualifying Supercross? What's wrong with that?
It's more laps on that track that already gets destroyed.
I got no problem with that.
I do. I want to see the track in better shape so I can see better racing. I don't want to see
program.
I don't want to see slot cross all the time.
I think that's a problem with the track build, not with more riders on it.
The track build is part of it,
narrowness.
but I don't need 100 bikes on track. I don't even hardly watch the C groups qualify anymore, even when I go to the race, because I no offense to any of those guys. Again, they're all cool guys, and they're all faster than I'll ever pray to be, but I'm not there to watch them. Once I get past B group guys, which are the guys that are, say, 3 to 5 seconds off the lead time at best, then I don't care, because like half of you aren't even going to make the night show, period, and the rest of you are going to make it and roll around in the back of the LCQ and the heat races. I'm sorry, I don't. It doesn't matter to me. And again, I have nothing but respect for how good those guys are on motorcycles. Let's get them a series where they're the stars of it. And build, again...
Electric class,
whatever. I don't care. Like I said, let's get an arena cross or a smaller stadium class where we go to these stadiums that have 15 to 30,000 seats, and they're slightly smaller floor plan, and get those guys building this up. And again, semi-pro, have more teams, because now you got to have your semi-pro teams to be able to have your guys to fill in at your pro level.
I like the feeder class. I like that idea, or what the 250 used to be, where you would be able to.
Yeah.
Well, I like the idea of being able to call guys up. I like that a lot. And I hear you about the other parts. There's a couple of interesting points you make, and I really that Jace makes that you're kind of relaying. But
yeah,
I definitely don't agree with you, and that's fine. I hear you.
It's and again, I know I'm going to get a bunch of pushback on this, and I've gotten a bunch of pushback on this before.
Well,
And
you're stating about change, and no one likes change. Right, so
yeah, that's 100% the thing. Now again,
especially goons on fucking internet. Right?
oh yeah, don't worry,
Jeez.
they'll come out of the woodworks for this. Especially if I ever I haven't clipped this segment. The last time me and Justin Cole talked about it, I need to, but I haven't because it's a big deal. This is a big thing. Like they went after Jace so bad. I think Cole told me he took down the video of the clip of him talking about it, which I was surprised on because he usually doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I need to text him and see like what the deal is with that. But I'll put it up. Let him come for me. I don't care.
About discussion. I just one of my least favorite things about our industry is everyone's a cynic and everyone hates everything.
I just want I want the road to be in the next Eli Tomac to be very defined, not this everywhere. Like I don't need the S curvy rut going down the straightaway to be the road to get to be an Eli Tomac.
Because you've never been in that road before.
I need it to be more defined.
Okay, I respect it as a fan, but also as a
How do you
wanna
get
say
your
journalist.
Supercross
As a-
license?
pro-ams.
No,
or
nope,
Supercross,
nope.
With futures or whatever.
Okay,
or
so futures. How do you race futures?
amateur nationals.
This is my fucking point right
I'm
here.
34 years old. I don't know that.
No, this is my fucking point. We should know this. How do you get to the NHL?
Really, you can get there are a million ways.
Okay,
You just get a
let's go.
contract.
Let's go over a couple of them. How do you get to the NHL?
Well, I'm on the bottom of the barrel of minor pro stuff, so for me, it's a lot of call ups.
Yeah?
Or a Make a Wish Foundation type thing. But yeah, you would just have to get a contract to come get called up and play.
But what I'm saying is, what's the road to it? So you start off, you're playing as a kid, as an amateur, right?
Which I didn't.
Okay. Yep. But you know this system. Okay. What is the level of amateur that you need to get to even remotely stand a chance of getting on the radar?
This is tricky because I used to coach Bell Tire AA and AAA out of Detroit.
Bingo. AAA.
And here's the thing, though. As a coach in that level and as a hockey player currently, I don't believe in it. I really fucking don't. Because
Okay.
I didn't play as a kid. I didn't even start ice skating until after I retired from racing motorcycles. And everybody's like, "Oh, you must have started playing when you're." And I'm like, I didn't fucking start playing until I was already out of college.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Holy shit, how do you?" And it's like, you just fucking do it. I don't need to follow your rules and guidelines to the path to success. I don't need to start at age 4.
Okay, we're going off on a tangent here though.
Okay.
But okay, so you need to be at the highest level amateur wise, which is AAA, correct?
Theoretically.
Okay.
You don't need to be though.
And then
at all.
from there, there's a couple different ways you can get scouted from there. Number 1, you'll get scouted.
Yeah.
Then number 2, you will either go to a junior A team
Or college.
or college.
If you're young enough, right? So I was
if
already
you're
past
young,
that age.
If you're past that age, or say you're the next whatever, you can get scouted directly into the show. But at some point, you're gonna play in that development thing down there of AAA hockey, like
I've done
that.
a bunch of showcases, which would be like the combine.
Yes. Then you're gonna go to either college or, like we said, juniors there, which you'll get scouted out of there and then drafted. Correct?
If you're young, right? So I was long past 18-year-old. I was, I think, 22 when I started playing hockey.
Okay.
I'm 34 now. I'm on my 3rd year minor pro. Mm-hmm. And I've done like some skills camps and some what do they call them? Where it's like it's shit, I have to my tongue. Where it's like they come and you have a little tournament, but it's like about kind of weeding out the weaker guys, right? And I'm not a real great hockey player, but it's real interesting how in those situations you kind of rise to the occasion, right? Well, it doesn't matter if you're fucking 21 or 34 at all, really. It's about how you perform. And I don't need to have to go from AAA as a kid to juniors as a 17-year-old and then get drafted and all that stuff, because you don't need to be drafted. You don't need to be out of Loretta Lynn's to go to the Nationals. You can be John Dowd and not even start racing until you're in your teens, right? And I like that. I don't think that we need to have rules and this boxes you have to check along the way. Fuck that. Land of the free.
So we don't need licenses?
We need licenses.
Okay,
But honestly, I think that.
Okay,
To be 100% honest with you, I think that it's too controlled by that now, because when I went through that shit, it was pro-ams, and I like the flexibility because I didn't have the money to go do at the time all the shit that I needed to do it nowadays. Like for me to go in current day and do future stuff is very expensive. Whereas
you can't ride futures.
Well, not currently, but if I was one of those kids.
You can't ride futures. In order to ride futures, you have to be with a team and get invited.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Which, the point I'm trying to prove here is there isn't like this direct path. Because like you said, when you went back in the day, you could go to these pro-ams, collect your 100 points or whatever you needed, pay your license fee, and boom, you had a pro license for motocross and supercross. Okay?
I started with motocross, and then you could get to supercross.
Nowadays, you have to go through futures. But
we didn't mention arena cross though, because arena cross you had to be a B rider.
Well, that was something we threw in the middle here. Then we went to arena. We threw arena cross in there to get your points
That's
or whatever.
Where I started. For me, it was arena cross
to get your supercross license. Okay, so that was a thing. Then arena cross went away, and all of a sudden it was, oh, what do we do now? Now let me ask you this: should you be able to go ride just outdoors and get a supercross license?
It's tricky because you got to have some kind of vetting. But I have long thought that the flexibility is real important. And also because you get guys that come out from overseas and it kind of is different for them because they've proven themselves in other ways.
Yeah.
The flexibility is also important. The problem is when the flexibility is used the wrong way.
Which it is. A lot. There's a lot of people we know that probably shouldn't have either their pro license or their supercross license or both because they wrote a letter and some AMA guy passed it through.
I don't have a problem with it in most cases. In most cases, let them fucking try qualify and fail like I did. Right? Let them fucking try. If they're not out there in the main rolling around, which I have a couple examples on mine, I'm gonna keep under my hat.
We won't name drop that today.
That's different. But if they're really giving it their all, let them try. If they're not bullshit.
I think we can let them try, but I don't think we let them try in the NHL series.
It's because you don't have qualifiers in NHL. But for if you go to Redbud, it's not a great example.
The NHL teams also don't have open tryouts that I could go to right now.
Kinda, yeah. But like for example, for Hangtown, I don't have a good example here, but let a Tom Cooper go try to qualify and fail.
And that's fine. With outdoors, I have a completely different perspective compared to Supercross because I don't. One thing I've learned.
It's limited by entries, by the way.
What do you mean?
They're only. I think it's capped at 80 entries.
Yeah, 80 or 90. Yeah, for outdoors or whatever. In Supercross, yeah, it's the same way. But Supercross, that's way too many bikes on track. It is. That's all there is to it.
That's your opinion.
It destroys those tracks, dude. We could have better racing if we had less dudes on the track and more time. Like if we didn't have C group and we had 20 more minutes to work on the track in Supercross there between sessions, tracks would be so much more prime.
For a mud race, I agree with this. But in a regular situation, I like a little bit more worn in track. It makes me better. It makes other guys slow down more. So, opinion.
I mean, like I said, if we're gonna be elite, tip of the spear, there needs to be some things changed to make us elite, tip of the spear.
I agree with that.
If we want to have,
I like constructive ideas here.
This is not me trying to tear down anything. Let's visit some of these ideas. Let's change some things up. I, for example, do like that. I like the futures. But I think that there needs to be a better process to make the actual futures race. Number one, I think futures should be 8 or 9 rounds. It should be like every other race for Supercross. Number two, I think there should be a qualifying series at facilities that are provided around the country, or say even in one spot. Say Feld builds a Supercross track at their facility in Tampa.
How much fucking money do you think these people have?
And holds qualifying races. Have you ever seen Feld's Monster Jam facility? They have facilities that we could build a fucking Supercross track at run qualifying races for futures.
It's a lot of hot dogs to sell at the races.
I mean, you should go home and look up their Monster Jam facilities where they have all these trucks.
I'm not disputing that. All I'm saying as businessman to businessman, all these things are very expensive to do.
Well, there's also this thing called the AMA that I pay all this money to every single year that
It's a lobbying
should
firm.
do something like that also. So, well, there's a whole bunch in that little nugget that we're not going to open today.
There are some people I really like at the AMA and that like Bigelow's and them that I think do a great job, but I've always wondered, what am I really paying for?
We're not going to go down that path today, man, because I'll start saying stuff I shouldn't. Like I said, I'm not trying to tear stuff down. I'm like, we just need a bit more concise things here with the path to get to the tip of the spear, per se, to get properly scouted and get there, and the letting every Joe Blow come to a race.
They don't let every Joe Blow come to a race.
I believe is part of what restricts us in some growth. That's my concern with it. Is I do believe that that by trying to accommodate all of this, it's kind of like trying to do too many things at once.
Oh, we get a feel of that right now. Eh?
Yeah, it's like when you're trying to do that,
Shit.
nothing works. And we've been doing everything the same way here now for 50 years, and we've had these superstars and stuff that where we should, take off like a rocket ship, but yet we're still in a very similar place. So maybe it's time to revisit it and start to make some changes slowly.
I think there's tons of changes happening every fucking year. Like, for example, Super Motocross was a huge move in this move towards the tip of the spear thing.
Do you know why that happened?
Well, because of the World Supercross, but I really feel like
no.
I really feel like that was one of these productive moves.
I found out a different thing the other day. You know what really happened? Supercross was going to go 3 more rounds and go into July.
Oh.
And what do you think the teams were going to do? Do you think they were going to go to the outdoor series, or were they going to keep racing Supercross?
They were going to compete with each other?
Supercross was going to add... Feld was going to add 3 more rounds, was what was going to happen. The World Supercross thing played a small part, but the big part was Feld was like, yeah, F you, we're going to go into July with Supercross and add 3 more rounds.
Huh.
And do you know where all the funding for all the teams comes from?
No, I don't.
The Supercross races. Literally, this is something I keep hearing over and over and over again for different people.
Oh, you're talking about their budget.
Their budget comes from Supercross, and then
their whole forever.
And then they just get to go do outdoors because it's just the thing they do. It's kind of like us. We get sponsored because of the Supercross shows where all our views come from, and then we just do the outdoors to just stay relevant, essentially.
Oh, I know nothing about this.
Yeah, I don't. The outdoor series, and this has been since year 1 with us, the views and stuff drop off tremendously because it's just for us core guys or guys that follow it a lot like me, because I wouldn't even call myself core because I'm relatively new still, and everybody says I don't know what I'm doing, but whatever.
And he's a spode.
And I'm a spode. The outdoors is essentially, I'll probably get slayed for the irrelevant. The Supercross is what pays all the bills.
I mean, I understand that the Supercross is the standing on business part of things, but I would never say that the other side's irrelevant. But
I
get your
have
point.
heard so many of these sub-factory teams basically say, yeah, if we tell them anything about outdoors for sponsors, they're like, we don't even care.
I mean, I get that.
So, and I mean, like I said, it basically works the same way for us. We get all of our views and all of our reactions and everything Supercross season, and then once we hit outdoors, it's just like right down. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I think there's a lot of things with it to visit. There's a lot of interesting conversations with this.
I'd love to be influence on the growth of the sport. That's for sure.
That's what we're trying to do. Positivity here, not negativity. Just hey, let's talk about some things. And this all spans back to rider safety, and let's just get a flag team.
I mean, whatever.
That's all I got, man.
Some of this stuff is productive. Some of this stuff is fixing the squeaky wheel that's squeaking on purpose.
Look, man, we have this great thing over here to literally just copy paste the model, which is Formula One.
I don't think it's anything close
to grow the sport.
I don't think it's anything close to
Why?
The business model of motocross and supercross, particularly because first and foremost, the money is a huge difference.
Money is a huge difference, but that's a world thing. Which, interesting fun fact, when we talked about this like a couple shows ago, supposedly, what is it, next year? 25, 26? One of the SMX rounds is going to be not in the U.S.
Good.
So we're going to start to move in that direction here.
Close friend of mine called me on my way out here, actually, asking me why don't they do GPs in America very often. And I'm like, you got a great point.
That is very much supposedly on the agenda here very soon, too, for a GP MX Sports crossover event.
Yeah.
Where you're going to have the top 20 from each class racing, essentially.
That's real interesting, but the
Points
GPs,
pain.
like every other season that GPs come here, and that's cool, but the biggest market in the world is here. And to not have hardly anything here, it sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Luongo was here during Supercross, during Indianapolis. I think it was Indianapolis. Maybe it was Detroit.
Son.
I don't remember which one. They were scouting Ironman for designations for 26
Cool. I wouldn't have it.
or 25. It's coming.
Iron Man.
So what I've heard, and it's basically signed. That's why he was here, was to literally go to the track and see it.
I'm happy being 4 hours from there or whatever, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't either. I don't know that it's big enough, but whatever. But like I
I
said,
don't like the track that much either.
but the other thing is that they're going to they were talking crossover because they want to do a points paying top
That's
of
real
each one, which I like.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
a race that actually matters.
A race that actually matters between the two of them. Yep, where it's mid-season for everybody. I'm 100% there. Do it at Redbud, baby.
Yeah, that's it was literally the topic on my way out here. Shout out to Delshon, he's awesome.
So, okay, so that was your Holster Co. Reload rant. A little silly season stuff. I heard that Troy Lee is not coming back with the Gas team.
Ducati?
No, I don't know for sure. I just heard that come next year, it's just going to be a Gas team, not a Troy Lee Designs Gas team.
Well, that means Troy Lee's doing something cooler next year, and I'm all about it because every year they're one of my favorite things.
I don't think it's going to be a Ducati thing because Ducati wants an already established team with all the infrastructure in place, including a facility.
And they only have a 450 for now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, starting at 450, go to 250.
Yeah, and that's what I've kind of heard is some of the hang up here with the Ducati brand is they want whoever they partner with here to bring a bunch of money plus infrastructure,
That's
essentially.
what Troy Lee has.
So
Troy Lee's been doing this for 30 years.
Troy Lee doesn't have a riding facility. They ride out at the KTM factory test track, which KTM is not going to let Ducati out on their test track. Sorry.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that's the Ducati thing. Super interesting here.
I would love to see Troy Lee do that, though. What a great thing for Ducati
It would be
to get
cool.
into the Americas.
But I'm hearing more than likely JGR is coming back with them.
Interesting.
So, we'll see. I don't know. Could be
Shout out to Coy Gibbs.
RIP.
Pretty cool.
RIP to him. So, all right. Anything else you got for halftime? Any rumors? Anything you've heard so far?
I don't know. We got a lot of things so far.
Yeah. So, all right. So, let's do our.
Let's take an intermission here.
You want to take an intermission? You want to
Oh,
take a break? Okay, cool. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with our 250 race recap, and we'll get this wrapped up. That's been your Complete Racing Solutions halftime report. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. And, all right, so we are going to move on to your 250 race recap here. And we're going to start right off with your Isaac Nelson Designs Deegan Danger Zone. Deegs goes 1-1 for 1.
We almost put money on it.
We almost put some money on it. Almost. And, I mean, I can't say this is really unexpected, but the way it was unexpected because he was pretty fucking dominant all day. Like, good starts, good passing, running away. Definitely had, as they were talking about, a little bit of that Tomac style to him of just bulldogging it through there.
He looked great.
Now, the real question is, should he have been penalized? I was pretty clear in the eyes when Isaac was on. I thought he should have been penalized.
I didn't think Vial should have been penalized, so whatever.
Yeah, I know. Really, both of them were
That's the way it
kind of.
goes.
But again,
Racing
you're gonna
independence.
set that precedent with the Vial thing and
Well, here's the
not
thing.
do it to Deegan. Then this is where you get into that area of like, oh,
I don't disagree with that, but the thing is, the precedent for me is the last 50 years. It's not a fucking penalty.
but
Just
see,
because they penalize him doesn't mean, oh, the VAR's now changed. Well, no,
but
that was the exception to the rule.
But what they're trying to do is get better about actually issuing penalties because this is one
Consistency.
positive thing the AMA has done because not only are they trying to they're coming for us.
We got some kind of fucking
They're
helicopter
coming
above
for us. Anyway,
There's an Osprey above us. All right.
yeah, because not only are they trying to issue
I am
penalties,
not suicidal, and I don't have any information on the Clintons.
they are not only trying to issue penalties, but they have this whole group of like J-Bone and Christina Denny and a couple other people for tearing motors apart and checking things and enforcing rules now. They're trying, which I like, which is fine. But again, you're gonna set this precedence and do it to one and not the other when it looks exactly the same. It's a rough look.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I'm with you. Neither one should have really been a penalty. You got drip on your nose, and
Thank you.
this is a great way for him to start the season. We're only round one, I know. Does this continue with him? He was a favorite.
Does it continue with
Deegan, does he continue
getting away
to
with things?
have rounds like this where he's just this good? Because we saw it last year
yeah, he
at
should.
Washougal. This was a Washougal ride last year.
He's really good. Will he be
Ti-
consistently
title
consistent
favorite?
enough?
For you?
Yes.
Okay. I think he's mine too.
Healthy is the question mark.
Can he stay healthy is what you're saying?
Yeah.
So far, it's been pretty okay. Outside of that little wrist injury before Supercross that wasn't really there, but was there. But we'll find out probably in a month or so how bad it really was. But yeah, I'm with you. If he can stay off the ground here, which I think he can, this guy is... I'm not panicking on any of these dudes yet, but I do think that this class is a 3-horse battle of Deegs, Vial, Kitchen.
They're very good.
Mm-hmm.
There are other guys that can win races,
Yes,
but guys that are really in the hunt.
Joey Savacci.
Joey could be. Joe could be.
Joe will probably win a race before the end of the season.
I think he's going to be a solid second in points.
Okay.
I think he'll get better and better.
Yep.
There's a number of guys that'll be threats for wins.
Mm-hmm.
RJ, poor RJ.
I don't think RJ's out.
Well, he'll be a threat for wins later in the season, though.
Is he gonna? Have you heard something? Is he gonna make it back for outdoors?
I don't
I mean, I know he got hurt and had surgery already, but I heard he had the same kind of wrist injury that Colin Park had, and it took Colin all of Supercross season to get back. So
Nothing about it.
maybe SMX he'll be back, but yeah. So I think this bodes well, and he could win this title very easily. So.
Good. He's my favorite.
Well, like I said, I think it's a 3-horse battle. Vial's day, which we'll get to here in a second, didn't go quite as smooth as we thought it might, but at the same time, I'm not panicking because we've got a lot of races to go here outdoor-wise. So
Typically, we see Supercross champions come out and have a hangover for outdoors.
which is probably what just happened.
I didn't see that. I saw a rider that was pretty fucking good.
But he had We'll get to Vial in a second.
All right.
But that's so yeah. I mean, we don't. The Deegan danger zone's not getting as dangerous anymore because
It's not
he's
hot
kind
takes.
of starting to establish himself here. So the hot takes on stuff, other than the fact I think he should have got penalized also. If Vial got penalized, he should have been penalized. But outside of that, I don't have anything hot take wise with it.
With the VL thing, I don't know if this come into play, but things such as hockey, there's what we call makeup calls, right? To where you kind of fucked a guy up and you didn't get called, but the referee's like, I saw you. Next time you screw something up, I'm going to fucking get you.
So which way do you think this goes? Do you think they do a makeup call on Deegan later in the season, or do you think they do a Vial one where they don't make a call on it?
Where I was going with this is I wasn't sure if there was already something that had happened that preceded this for VL. That they were like, oh, we saw you. next time we're gonna get you, and then he did it again. I don't know. Right?
I'm not
That's the
sure.
thing.
I don't know. That'd be an interesting thing to know. But all right, that's been your Isaac Nelson Designs Deegan Danger Zone. So comment below with your hot takes on Deegs here, because I'm sure you guys will come on. I'm
He
sure
looks so
something.
good.
I'm sure something I just said offended one of these Deegan bedbugs, and here we are. Y'all nuts comes to mind here, because I'm sure he'll comment that I just hate on Deegan, even though I just say he was my title favorite.
I don't know who that is, but all right.
I don't know. He's some guy that just, or some person, I guess. I don't even know if it's a guy that comment. His name is Y'all Nuts.
Y'all nuts.
On every single video and talk shit to me, which is great. It's great.
Thanks
Let's do
for
it.
watching, Y'all nuts.
Yeah. Kitchen goes 2-2 for second. Boot issue with
Looks
the spike.
great. Super strange.
Super strange. Never seen it.
So strange.
But he looked super good. Okay, let me ask you this:
Yes.
the Deegan podium thing, where he said, "Oh well, I trained with Levi. I knew he'd get tired at the end of that first moto."
I saw it last night, and I like that.
A little WWE jab, or
I'm all about that.
I don't. And the funny thing was that Stu kept making comments about like Levi needs to get by him and slow the pace up, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get that.
Levi didn't seem like he was tired after either moto. So what he did say, I heard on a post race, he was having stomach issues all day and shitting his brains out. So between motos, he was literally drinking Pedialyte and shitting, and he finally said he got it all out. So the second moto, he felt way better.
I'm gonna need some Pedialyte after this.
So, but outside of that, I mean, here's the thing. With him and Vial and Deegan, none of them threw it away the first round here. So that's good,
Agreed.
because they're all in it. And these, like I said, I think these are the three favorites. There's other guys that can win, but these are the three title contenders here. And with that being said, Vial goes 4-3 for third. And I just think
Look great.
he looked good. He faded a little more than I would have liked to have seen. But again, we talk about the Supercross hangover. Okay,
Bike looked good.
cool.
For first round, it looked like it was riding pretty good.
Yeah, and it's Paula, so it's kind of,
All race.
it's that track. So we'll see as we continue on here, but I think the season will be good for him. He'll start to pick up wins here as we go. So Hymas goes 3-4 for fourth. Okay. Hymas goes 3-4 for fourth. I'm super surprised that Hymas is riding with the knee injury. He was freaking fast all day yesterday and looked so good, but I still question, like, if he dabs that knee, then what? So now we're just riding around on a bum knee like we were Supercross, and like it's a longer race, more dudes, you can fade back farther, out of point. I don't know. This is such a weird thing to me, but I'm excited to see if he can like really challenge for it, because that podium was because Tom got doxed there at that first race. That's why I ended up third. But I'm super interested to see where he goes from here, because this is kind of where I see him slotting in. You got those top three guys. I just don't see... think Hymas wins a moto this year?
Yes, but it's going to be maybe one, maybe two
Yeah,
motos.
okay.
The thing is, he's got to get a start. So we saw with all four motos,
Yeah.
the guys who started up front fucking went up front the whole way.
Yep.
Nobody accepted the rule, right? You have to get a good start.
Yeah. All right. Swole goes 6-5 for fifth.
Looked great. Had a couple major battles.
Dude, he is... This is right where I think he slots in, man. And then he dabbles in the podium. That bike is proven it's good, especially outdoors.
Which is
the
very
guys
surprising.
the guys are on the box in the GPs, so the bike's good. There's no question about the bike.
Nothing like a new bike that performs off the bat. That's great.
The best thing is that you can literally see what the bike is like, because Jalik has not literally like taken a step up, so the bike obviously isn't like light years ahead of everything else, and he also hasn't taken a step backwards, so it's obviously not shit. The bike is plenty good.
I need to give respect where it's due. I didn't expect him to be this good at any point in his career.
Swole,
He's impressed me.
did I ever tell you that I cut a clip of Justin calling him a little shithead and then put it on Instagram and tagged Jalik in it, and Jalik commented on it and goes, "Well, I guess I'm just a shithead." And I was like, "Justin, would you like to issue a public apology?"
Here's Travis stirring a pot like
I need
usual.
a big ass spoon. That's what I got to get, is a big ass ridiculous spoon for when I do stuff like that. But
I don't get it, but okay.
it's fine. It's fine. So, I think Jalik kind of understood it wasn't really like a super serious shithead. It was just guys talking shit. I mean, we're B-class bench racers here, okay?
Does he know that? No.
Who, Jalik?
Yeah.
Well, so
What do
he
you mean
used
B class? Neither of you ever rode B.
he used like our bench racing skills are
okay.
B class. Okay,
I got you.
You got your A class pro riders, which are like
Johnny.
well, yeah, and then like the Steve Mathis, the those guys, those high end media guys, and then you got guys like us, and we're the top B class group. Okay,
I see.
so that's what we are, B class bench racers here.
Shout out to Cole, the 4th fastest American motocross podcaster.
Yes, exactly. So, all right. So Shimoda goes 8.6 for 6th. Heard they're working on the bike still.
I can't wait to see him ride a new bike. Honestly, like
When does that come out?
I wonder because normally they don't announce it this early, and normally they release it the week of Loretta Lynn's.
Yeah.
But since they announced it this early, it's almost like fucking let's go already.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I don't really pay that close of attention. I know it's usually like August time that you start seeing it, which would be Loretta's. So I don't know. I'm out on it. I don't have any idea. And it kind of got leaked-ish because Timmy G was riding it
I don't know
in the
who that
GP.
is.
Tim Geyser,
Oh, Geyser.
in the GPs.
Okay.
Yeah. So it kind of got, and then there's pictures floating around of it right now that you can see it. So Nate Thrasher goes 11.7 for 7th. Okay.
Looked great.
Thrasher's kind of, this is his, he's just kind of there outdoors. Like he's just kind of in the middle there. He's never that great.
I could see him get a couple podiums too.
Hold on, let me see his outdoor results. The problem with outdoors is he always gets hurt.
This is
Let's
true.
see here. Is there anything really noteworthy? Literally, he is a. Let's go down here. Nope. Literally, this is it. He is a 20th to 8th place guy. His entire career outdoors. So.
Could he podium? I think he could podium.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's like, it's never even been like the highest I just saw was like 6th.
He's had
In
times
3
where he
years.
would be up front. He just hasn't finished there. I think he could
He's
do
really
it.
good at Supercross. That's the thing. He's like, and what I mean by really good is he wins a race, then he finishes like 15th, and then he
Big call.
finishes like 10th, and then he wins, and then he gets hurt. So like, he's got a weird career.
Tricky.
Yeah, of like he keeps getting rides or keeps staying on star because he wins races, but like can't put anything together ever. So it's just like this weird like first place, 17th, first place, hurt out, like comes back 10 races later. Anyway, Pierce Brown goes 10.8 for 8th. Okay, rumor mill he's going to star, but I'm not sure.
A lot of guys in that team.
I don't know that no one's really sure on that one. So Savachi goes 5.13 for 9th.
Long battle, first moto.
Long battle, and it was awesome.
Yep.
He is, and like I said, that's right where I think he's going to be.
Welcome back, Joe.
Yep. But I think he's going to. I think he's going to win a moto and possibly an overall this year.
So much so that he put money on it. And
Put
Travis is not a betting guy at all.
Put money on it. So, well, I mean, I did double or nothing bet.
What do you mean?
Coach already owed me $100.
Okay, I didn't know this part of it.
Yeah, Coach already owed me 100, so I asked him if he wanted to go double or nothing. So, but I put $100 on it with him. What was
Alright.
our bet?
Me and you?
Oh yeah, the fucking perfect season thing. Never mind. Ryder D 9.12 for 10th. Okay. Juju 13.9 for 11th. All right. Mark Phineas 14.11 for 12th. Jordan Smith 7.18 for 13th. That's a very Jordan Smith ride.
He had some real flashes of speed first moto.
Yes, he did.
He was looking good.
Yep. And you know, if he was anywhere close to Deegan, it could get saucy. But of course, he can't. He's not anywhere close to Deegan outdoors. So.
He wanted it so bad because of the
Oh, I so
hoopla
do.
about it. I just wanted a
I
good
just
race.
want to see those two just go at it. Dylan Schwartz, 12.15 for 14th. Here we go. This is
points.
gonna.
Good points.
This next guy. This is gonna be my Pro Flow mini moment of the entire weekend here, and I'm gonna explain
Oh, boy.
it because Ty Masterpool,
Oh, here we go.
24.10 for 15th.
He's about to flame him, I'm sure.
This was a stupid move by Ty Masterpool to go ride Pro Circuit. Okay.
This is his opinion.
Here's my opinion on this, okay? Ty Masterpool, riding for HBI Racing there in the 450 class, could have had the same type of season he had last year. Inside the top 10, 450 class, making at least some sort of money. And
Maybe.
this is where the Masterpools aren't like say the Degans, where it's like, okay, you could do that, and you could market yourself as this top guy after the factory guys that mixes it up with them. Where now he's riding pro circuit, guaranteed it's a bonus only program. He's not getting salary for this fill-in ride. There's just no way. I would be highly surprised.
They don't pay that much to begin with.
I would be highly surprised if he got any sort of salary whatsoever to ride for pro circuit. And he will, in this 250 class, in my opinion here, and I don't have anything against Ty Masterpool, I just think he'll be basically irrelevant all year. I don't think you will... There won't be any... The talking point is happening right now with the fact that he's riding PC, and in 2 weeks, no one will talk about him the rest of the year, and he'll be right back on HBI come next winter to ride Supercross, and that'll be it until he rides a 450 outdoors again. And it's strictly because there's so many of these fast-ass kids. He was in the 250 class before, on a star bike. And you and I talked about this yesterday. Outside of that Redbud race, where he's hole-shotting and leading for 3/4 of it, there wasn't a whole lot going on there. Why? Because in the 250 class, with all of these raging wild animals in there, going crazy, he's just not that guy to lay it down like that. He's fast, he's super good, but when you put him in the 450 class, which is always a little bit more depleted, and then on top of that, you have, like, it's not that hard to set up a privateer bike to get to that point where you can run with those guys inside the top 10, then you can have a summer like he did last year. But when you get in this 250 class like this, with a fill-in ride, we
He's
saw...
on the best bike there, out there.
Okay,
right
so was Mitchell Harrison. What's he doing now? Mitchell Harrison did the same thing in 2020. Fill-in ride for PC Outdoors.
Yeah.
Did okay, but again, was basically irrelevant. It doesn't get you anywhere, man. If it was a deal of he was getting a bunch of money or something, great, fine, awesome.
Fuck the money.
But he's not.
It's got nothing to do with money. It's got everything to do with being the next champion.
He's not going to be a champion.
Well, that may be true, but
Ty
this
Masterpool
is a move for him to grow as a racer, not to be making more money.
Nah.
You look at a lot of these things, for example, Kevin Moran's situations as the money part of it. And if you're trying to be Ricky Carmichael, the money is the result, the after effect. It's the path to get to be that person that matters, right? And if you're Ty Masterpool and you have this great 450 ride as part of a privateer deal, beside the fact you can already go back to that, the reason that you needed to go to the 450 was because you needed a more competitive bike in the 250s anyways. So now you have the most competitive bike with
He was on a
arguably the
Star
best.
Racing Yamaha. He was on the best 250 bike you could possibly get and didn't do anything. You're not going to convince me that this Pro Circuit bike is going to make him do anything, man.
Well,
He might sneak a couple top fives in. No one's going to give a shit. If you don't land on the box on that 250, no one cares. And it still isn't going to translate to anything. This is where I hate the fill-in rides for guys like this for outdoors, because there's no fucking money in it.
it's because you're looking at the money.
You got to have money to live.
Well, I agree with that.
You got to have money to live. And there's no fucking money in it.
I
And it doesn't get you, here we go again. Doesn't get you anything because it's outdoors.
It gets you an opportunity to shine. And, well, this is probably not appropriate to talk about on the air, but in a situation like Kevin Moran's, I love what he's doing. He's such a great people person in these things, but it wasn't a move to get him to be Ricky Carmichael. It was a move to get him to be sustainable at the races.
Mm-hmm.
This move with Ty Masterpool isn't a move for him to be sustainable in the 450 class. It's a move to be Ricky Carmichael. And I support that all the way. Maybe it doesn't happen, maybe it does happen, but without the opportunity like this, like, don't get me wrong, he's been making noise in the 450 class for 2 or 3 years now or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a move to become Ricky Carmichael, not to become $30,000 richer.
There's... I don't know, man. I guess I'm too much of a realist of, like, there's a certain point, and you'll see it very early on, whether you have the opportunity to be a Ricky Carmichael or let's figure out how to make money doing this. Otherwise, what the fuck are we doing? We have a
Everyone at that
hobby.
level, as far as I'm concerned, at least in my experience, everyone at that level that works that hard believes that they can be that guy.
Then, brother, I need to take a mirror around the pits and be like, all right, let's fucking readjust this here, because let's face it, Ty Masterpool had his shot at doing that when he was at Star for 3 years or whatever there. And guess what? Didn't happen. So now we need to readjust and go with, okay, cool. What is our path of least resistance to make the most money we can doing this, since this is my profession I've chose at this time?
I don't agree with that, but that's okay. It's not about a fucking job with paycheck. It's about becoming your best.
Yeah, well,
It's
call a
about
credit card
pursuing.
company and tell them you got hopes and dreams of being Ricky Carmichael and see if that pays that fucking bill.
Well, I'm talking to a business person, not a professional racer. So
Look, I had
your
dreams of being a
perspective-
professional hockey player back in the day too, and then I got to a point and I realized, like, look, this just ain't going to be a fucking thing. So we need to readjust this.
Well, we see differently here, and that's
I
fine.
mean, dude, I understand what you're saying. I totally had the same aspirations, legitimately, to play hockey at a very, very high level, and then I got to a certain point in probably my sophomore or junior year of high school and went, that ain't going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Like, that just ain't going to be a thing.
Yeah, you weren't Ty Masterpool at Nationals, running around in third place in a 450 class, thinking you were really close.
I
In
mean,
prime shape.
I understand that, but again, to come out and maybe he'll get a little bit better, and if he
Hope he does.
if he starts
Knock on wood.
and if he starts getting podiums in these 250 races, then okay, then we can start talking about, like, all right, maybe this was a different move. But right now, when your debut, and again, I know he's on the bike one day, and the guys will flame me in the comments for that too.
Yeah, that's true.
Was 24:10 with multiple times you're on the ground. This is one of those, you can't win the title the first day, but you can lose it. It's lost.
Well,
You're not in championship contention here with a
I agree with
24:10
that. He's
at all. If that's the directive that you're going for by making this move, you threw it away in the first moto with being on the ground and getting 24th.
way it goes. Well, I'd like to say right now, in regard to also Pala and Kawasaki, the last time I rode at Pala was probably 12 years ago, a long fucking time ago.
Yeah.
And I rode a stock Kawasaki 250 with motorwork, but stock-based suspension. Like, that's pretty good. And then I rode a race bike, same setup, but with a little bit faster engine and with Aiken suspension, and I was laughing in my helmet because it was so much easier to go fast. It was such a big difference that I was like, I've been going my whole life without this. One of those things, right? So when you're Ty Masterpool, you didn't have a lack before, but maybe you have a little bit of a bump up with Bones Bacon and Mitch
Yeah.
Payton, right? Maybe that little bit. Although you've had the opportunity with Star and other places, maybe right now it's just the little catalyst you need.
Maybe, man. Like I said, I look at all these other Tasmanian Devils that are in this class right now and go, are you really competing with that? Or should you have stayed on the 450? Again, racked in those 5th to 10th places.
Just for money.
Get yourself, not only that, get yourself a ride on a Club MX, on a, on your HBI, whatever. I guess I don't
know who that is.
Club HBI is like, it's an investment thing that this guy owns, and he just loves motocross. So he spends like $1 million out of his own pocket to do the toter home and like go around all
It's a
these
huge
races
investment.
with a few guys. Yep, and it's cool. I give him tons of credit. Love that guy and his family because it's like him and his wife and a couple other people that kind of put this together and did it, and it's awesome. But like, I don't know, man. Like. Because, like, okay, he's 15th. What is 15th place in the 250 class pay right now?
For the whole day, probably $900.
Yeah.
Maybe $1,000.
Yeah. So you made $900. If he'd have got a top 10 in the 450 class, which there's a high probability he could have, what does that pay? $2,500.
A little bit more, yeah.
Yeah. So
We're talking pennies here.
So you're
really.
you're over doubling your money. I don't know, man. Like I said, I would have stayed in the 450s in hopes of getting a fill-in ride there, because to fill in on the 250s, unless I really either am getting paid a lot or know that I have that skill to challenge for wins, it's irrelevant, dude. And again, he's the same. To me, I look at Ty Masterpool the same way I look at friend of the show, Mitchell Harrison. Because Mitchell did this with PC and ran top 5.
He did great.
He did awesome on it. Guess what it got him? Big bag of dicks.
Well,
Big bag of dicks. It didn't do anything, man, which sucks.
it got him the top fives.
Now for him,
It got him the touches on the really good bike.
yeah, but it's the
His
same
trajectory is a career.
It's the same thing that we saw. I mean, literally, these are carbon copies because Mitchell rode for Star too,
That's interesting.
and then did that PC fill in, and now where's he at? He rides whatever it is there. It's not PRMX, is it? I don't know. Whatever that Kawasaki team.
The money part of it that you mentioned is very interesting because, from my perspective, when I was, I've been bootstrapping my whole fucking life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, from being a broke racer as a kid to being a businessman that's bootstrapping the businesses, it's always been earn your way the whole way, right? Now,
Yeah.
there were times where you talk about the money part of it. There were times when, for example, there were arena cross races that I had to finish. Yeah, I had to at least fucking try to qualify to pay for gas to drive home, right? So I get that part of it. I very much get it. But Ty Masterpool is not there. Ty Masterpool is trying to be Ricky Carmichael. And it's tough to do that without
I know.
Mitch Payton's squad.
At some point, though, I still think you got to look in the mirror, but whatever. I would love to know. I would love to actually ask him, like, hey, what was the reason for the move? What do you think you're accomplishing by doing this? You know?
I also think that him being kind of seasoned in the 450 class, this gave him a good opportunity to kind of Joey Savacci, shark in the water kind of deal.
To an extent, but even Savacci said these kids are psycho.
Yeah.
So, and that's, we'll see. So comment down below what your thoughts on Ty Masterpool moving to Pro Circuit here for the summer. Do you guys have the same thoughts I do? Do you think are you more on Tom's line of it's a great move? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Jet Reynolds should have won 2 titles by now. 16th goes 16-16 for 16th. We'll see if he can make it through a whole season. That's another guy that, like you said, trajectory should have been the next Ricky Carmichael era type person, but because of things, so now it's like, okay, reevaluate the goals. Really look in the mirror. What's your goal? Do a whole season without getting fucking hurt. Finish an entire fucking series. Like, I don't want to hear about how many titles you should have won. Let's just finish the series and start from there. Because right now, you ain't winning any titles because you can't stay healthy.
It's a tough spot to be in.
I mean, it would suck, man. But like I said, I don't know. I guess I'm too much of a realist where it's like, dude, you got to look in the mirror. You got to look in the mirror.
I mean, a realist and a cynic are very close saying here, right? You can look at these guys and be like, yeah, they're not Ricky Carmichael. Get the fuck out of the way and make the room for the next guy. But the other side of it is it's a very
I don't want him to get out of the way and make room.
growth.
I don't want him to get out of the way and make room for the next guy. Just like don't get the Ty Masterpool thing twisted either. Like, I think Jet Reynolds deserves to have, say, a Club MX ride. He was a very touted amateur coming up. He, whatever. But again, you haven't been healthy for 6 fucking years. You literally haven't done but 1 race as a pro.
Wow, is that
Change the
really crazy?
focus and just stay healthy. And then you can start building on that. But you can't build you can't win a title racing 1 race a year that you get 10th in.
What do you think Jet Reynolds' ceiling is, personally?
Right now?
If you're looking at this rider, you say, forget where he's been at.
Are you talking this specific season, or are you talking as we go through the future?
I'm
here?
talking about Jet Reynolds has 10 more years in his career. What do you think his ceiling is?
If he can ever get it on track where he can start stacking a couple of seasons together and not being hurt, he could be, at this current moment, I think, a very easy inside the top 10 guy. Probably a 5 to 10 guy. I mean, he should be. He's guaranteed to have the speed. He has the skills. Again, this is a guy, I sit here and talk shit as a B-class bench racer, but the kid, I wouldn't see him for more than a corner on a track.
Yeah.
But, again, we got to build somewhere. So just finish a fucking season, dude. Even if you're going 10 to 15 here all summer, just go 10 to 15 all summer. Get through all the rounds. Don't get hurt. Let's go through the SMX rounds. Let's have a good off season and get into Supercross and then get through that without getting hurt. Let's just do that. And then, like I said, I think within a year or two, you're a 5 to 10, 250 guy who's staring at some decent results. And then all of a sudden you either maintain your club ride, which is a good ride at this point, or you're looking into some other teams as maybe a second tier 250 guy or whatever, which then gets you back on a factory bike, which you need.
Yeah, especially 250 class.
Yep. So Dax Bennett goes 2014 for 17th. Have no idea what happened to him.
They didn't show him much on the
No.
podcast.
Cody Schock had a rough opener. Went 1917 for 18th, as he put it. So I guess we've got room to build. We're an 18th place guy. Another guy who said, man, I haven't been in the 250 class in a long time outdoors. This is like, these guys are crazy. So the dropping back down thing is kind of questionable with how those guys act on the track compared to 450s.
Yeah, it's interesting how it fits different guys differently. So
Yep.
there are some guys that I feel like never should get pushed up. I almost don't even like getting pointed out of the 250 class. It's just really for me, it's for the cherry pickers. Mm-hmm. But they're so few and far between, right? I think that some guys, Jeremy Martin, those kind of guys, Jake Weimer, should never have left the 250 class.
Yeah.
Because they fit a 250.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Casey Cochran goes 15-21 for 19th.
We were just talking about him, right?
Yeah. Stuff I don't want to say on the air. I was just trying to think if I had told you that, if we talked about that last night or not. And then Lux Turner, 20th, 17:35 for 20th. So, and that is basically, let's see here. That's right. I'm trying to remember what we did for outdoors, and I remember now. We would go through top 20, and then we would just look for any Michigan guys, which there aren't any beyond the top 20 there. So that's been your 250 race recap there. So anything else you want to talk about here before we wrap this up?
We got 1 week off.
No.
Right
We're Hangtown, and then Thunder Valley, and then off, and then we go. What do we go after that? We go High Point, Southwick, Redbud, Spring Creek.
What a great schedule.
And then we're off for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And then we come back for the last 4.
We got a great American schedule.
Mm-hmm.
It's you hear every day lately. I hear about how the GPs are so awesome and the AMA series sucks, and it's like
I still think there's a
AMA
couple we
series
could
fucking
eliminate.
rocks, dude. Even if you don't like sand, Southwick's awesome.
No, I'm not talking Southwick. I think we don't need to go to Paula. And I think
Never rode there.
And I think we could. Nobody likes it. There is not a one of those riders that's like, yeah, let's go to Paula and race. There's not a one. Sweet practice track. There's not one that wants to go there.
It's a huge home track advantage for these guys that live nearby.
So I think we could eliminate Paula.
Glen Helen's not in the series, but I would say
No.
Glen Helen.
Bud's Creek, maybe.
You don't like Buds?
It's okay.
It's a staple.
Yeah, that's the hard thing is like which one what ones do you trim, I don't know, man. Every year I hear Washougal's on the fritz. The same thing with Bud's
and it's
Creek.
because of the drive. It's not because of the track.
No, but I heard Washougal's on the fritz are like shutting down all the time.
Yeah.
Like that's been a rumor for
Long
like
time.
5 years now. So it's like, okay, if you eliminate it, the thing about Washougal is it would be cool if we could just go there like second round. Like if we go from Hangtown
Go up the
to
coast.
Washougal to Thunder Valley and then come east.
That would
great.
make sense. That would make sense.
But because there's these certain time frames you have to do these certain races, and Washougal's is always in whatever the hell it is, they're August. That's where it kind of is like, oh. So I don't know. I don't know what you would trim because we're kind of down to the most iconic places essentially at this point here since Southwick came back. Before it was like we would go to Muddy Creek and it's like, okay, we could get rid of that one.
Didn't love that track. When we went, there was a lot of thing going on about WW in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I love that track.
WW?
I don't know if it's a national caliber
No,
track, but it's a
WW is
great
another one
place.
when we had that like we could get rid of it. Realistically, you probably could eliminate Ironman. Like I like Ironman because it's close.
Yeah, I agree.
But like it's one of those tracks like do we really need it? Probably not. Where would you put the series finale for outdoors?
The finale?
Yes. For outdoors here. Cuz Ironman to me is always a little anticlimactic for the
fans are cool, but it's not like an icon.
fans are cool,
It's
track's
not an
okay, but it's just not an iconic place.
That's like a round 5 place.
Yeah.
Where would I have it? Well, it's easy to think about all the tracks that already have the race, right? But if you're thinking about tracks that don't have a race currently, that would be great for. I wouldn't put any new track as the finale, but if I was to add a track to the circuit, I would first look at Monster Mountain in Alabama. Have you ever ridden there?
No, that
Love
is one
track.
I've heard thrown around for a national, but they don't have the space. Is what I've heard.
They got a lot of space. I don't know if about enough for a national.
Crowd and parking wise is what I'm hearing the issue is with that. The track wise, I've heard everything's positive about
So
it.
fun.
Everybody wants to do it. Great track. Everybody talks about how good it is. It's crowd space and parking space is where they don't have it. No, I'm saying we could do a current track. We're just going to move the schedule around a little bit. Where would you have the finale of the current tracks?
I don't even love Glen Helen, but it's honestly Glen Helen would be a great choice. Yeah. I don't even like Glen Helen as a national track. I really don't. It's sketchy, but you need a place that's iconic, right? So Redbud would be a great spot, except for Redbud needs to stay is the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So that's the trick, right? But Budds Creek would be okay. But you don't love Budds Creek.
Are there any of them that are close to the city that aren't out west?
Well, WWs were in Jacksonville.
I'm just thinking, like, where could you throw a championship party, you know?
High Point. It's not a great finale. Like, not a lot of these are great finale tracks.
Yeah.
Southwick is literally in town. Like, it's like if you went to the beer store we went to earlier.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking there.
Yeah.
It's crazy being there.
Yeah, I've seen some videos around there of, like, you're just,
pretty cool.
like, in this little town, and then, boom, here's the racetrack. So,
Pretty unique thing.
yeah.
Nothing's really coming to mind, though. Spring Creek's not anywhere near a town, and it's not somewhere I'd have a finale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of these tracks that are really good aren't in town.
Yeah. You know the other thing I wish we would do? I wish we'd go to a fall series. I wish we would start at the end of August and do August, September.
Instead of the normal series, or in addition?
No, instead of the normal one.
Why would you want to get rid of what we currently have?
Dude, do you remember those COVID cross at Redbud?
Yeah.
It was awesome. Weather was beautiful. It was great for racing. Great.
Were the only people there?
Great for spectating.
Which
I
was
don't even
cool.
care about that. Like,
was cool.
Like, bring all the people from 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
But just put it at the beginning of September when it's cooler and it's nicer out. Like, that was
Redbud's
awesome.
a great spot, right? And in the September October time frame, Redbud Michigan dirt is wonderful.
Yeah.
It's like the best dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Northern United States is generally pretty good. Like even the Pennsylvania tracks, although they're rocky, like the moisture stays in the dirt, it's real good.
Yeah.
Could be a number of places, man.
There's a lot of there's been some rumblings from some riders of like, we should just have a fall series instead. We should do Supercross, have a big summer break, do the fall series, do the finals, the 3 playoff rounds, and then whatever, instead of racing in the summer. All we do is
I'm not about it, but okay.
All we do is kill these guys off in the summer.
I mean, you could say that about the NFL. Like, oh, why do we have all these fucking games? Let's just go to the playoffs. Fuck it. Let's keep it healthy.
I'm not saying go to the playoffs. I'm just saying, like, instead of, again, baking these dudes to death every summer here for 30+2 in the heat everywhere, just have a fall series.
Yeah, I like the fall because the dirt's really good.
Yeah.
And it's nice for spectating, but I'm also a good mud rider, so we'll have more mudders. I'm happy about that in a way, but I love motocross, and June at Troy, Ohio,
Yeah.
July at Redbud, and those type of things. Unadilla, you mentioned Unadilla, how it sucks earlier. Unadilla's iconic. Actually, Unadilla would be a good one. It's just a little ways out of town.
Hour and a half from anything.
But it's a hub of motocross there, and it's got so much history that it makes it iconic, right? There are not a lot of places around the planet like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. So, all right. Well, that's been show 272, everybody. Thanks to our sponsors.
272. All right.
Complete Racing Solutions, TLR Coatings, Gutterworks, Holster Co., ProFlow Racing, and Isaac Nelson Designs. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to comment all your thoughts down below. We got some hot takes in this one. Tom doesn't argue
Let's
with
be
me.
constructive.
Tom doesn't argue with me as much, but it's okay. Y'all can come at me in the
I let
comments.
people be who they're gonna be. If they want to say some shit, that's cool. That's their
So,
opinion.
thanks for tuning in. Next week, we will have a race reaction. We will. I will make time for it. I will watch the race during the day, and we will make time for it. We will have a show on Tuesday. And, yeah, we will do this. I don't know who I got. I don't think I got a guest for next week, so I got to work on that here coming up. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you all next week.